Thank you. Thank you. Welcome on in. We're in week 2. We're day 1. And I've been informed by one of the owners of the league that this is a specifically chosen matchup on account of Team Elkay and Team Oasis have the same record. They are both, by very basic match points, 1-5 in the league so far. This is the bottom of the barrel brawl tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I have with me T-Von jumping in to help me orate through this onslaught. T-Von, how are we doing?
Dude, feeling great, feeling good, ready to watch some League of Legends. Love to watch these kind of bottom of the barrel games. You get to see how feisty these teams are. I mean, there's only so many points that you can get in the series. But being 1-5, not a great start. So maybe this is the beginning of a comeback, or maybe this will be a 2-1 kind of series, and they kind of stalemate a little bit. I'm very excited and curious to see how these matchups actually end up going.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and jump on in, just give an evaluation for just how the teams have been setting up. They're slowly going through their bans, which is perfectly fine for us. So it's a little mix up here on the stream for everyone, just so you know, but Team LK is on the is right side for at least their team list, while they have chosen blue side in the draft. Panda Boy in the top lane, Billy in the jungle, Domlax in mid, Juggernaut for the AD carry, and Tricky Z as the support. For Oasis, we got The Human Faith, Astro Smash, Tungy, Dark Flare Mage, and Jake, the team captain, from top 2 support in that order. I'd like to highlight a few little things here before we get too much further. Still taking their time on their... There we go. A little bit of matchup. Thank you, production. So, Human Faith, I have been informed actually by the owner before he got out of the green room with us that Human Faith is the second best top laner in the league next to Striker Jones over on Jeskin's Think Rev Think. So, top tier 1 there in the top lane, and very likely to beat up on Panda Boy, who may be trying to take away this Mbessa before we get too deep into the draft.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a very common draft that you would see in the higher tiers. And Church, I remember last time we cast together, my biggest complaint was people's decision to just have the worst jungle pool of all time. So far, we're seeing
What?
two very strong junglers being picked up right here. Mbs obviously can be flexed from top to jungle, but Zinzao being the jungler of choice on Team Oasis, I love to see it. Very strong, very evergreen kind of champions. Nami being also a very evergreen champion that has been picked up with a lot of different AD carries to match with her. The Corkis, obviously, famously the Lucian, but also Yunara likes it. And Nautilus is usually that counter pick to Nami. So honestly, this first phase of the draft seems to be very standard. And well, I mean, I eat my words immediately. Swain being picked up, but I do actually really like that pick. So far, Oasis is drafting circles around Elkay.
So far, I remember hearing that, if I got it right, with Tungy is a typically safe mid styled player, usually looking for control mages and things like that. If this Swain is going mid lane, it could be going top with Human Faith. I know Swain can be flexed across the board very readily, except for in the jungle, just doesn't have the damage for it. So this could be one of the champions that Tungy has actually posted about that they will play to really flex their pool and really expand their pool, usually playing Anivia and things like that, and now trying to go for more aggressive or just off-meta picks. To round out the bans here, just so everyone's been aware, we've had Trinmere, Action, Camille, Renekton, Volibear banned on the side of Team LK. We've had Jarvan, Mundo, Blitzcrank, Mordekaiser, and Silas taken out on the side of Team Oasis. And now we've got a Lissandra coming in on the side of Oasis. So I'm almost wondering, this is becoming a very curious question right now, because Dark Flare Mage is one of the top sort of players in, but also is in an off role. Dark Flare Mage has actually been role locked elsewhere than their main roles. So this is, I don't know if we're having Dark Flare Mage just bringing a mid laner like the Lissandra or the Swain to the bot lane. So I think you're gonna maintain that headache about the team comp issues inside of this league.
Honestly, the Swain being AD carry is it sounds weird, but I don't think it's really that bad. Swain and a lot of other mages in AD carry aren't very uncommon as you might think. And Lissandra is a really powerful counter into Ahri. I was gonna say the only problem with bringing Swain and Lissandra, especially when it's a Nami next to it, is you're gonna have to struggle finding AD. Since out being the only AD, but Yone being the top laner picked up as the flex of Ambessa being killed with that Kha'Zix lock-in. I'm not too sure about that Ambessa Yone matchup, but I do think that Yone has a lot more flexibility, especially because Human Faith is that very prevalent player. I think you can start to really run circles around the Ambessa. It feels like a skill matchup. But overall, I really like Oasis's draft into Elkay's. Elkay's is very low range. And a lot of Oasis's champions love that low range kind of team fighting style, especially things like Swain, Lissandra, and Yone love just brawling out. Specifically, Swain is kind of going to run over all of these characters. Kha'Zix doesn't really have a target to kill outside of, I guess, Nami, but Nami can easily space in a way where she's never a target for any of these champions. So the only question for me for Elkay is the way to get back into this game is trying to play Ahri Kha'Zix towards side lanes and letting Smolder get a very early lead and having Smolder just completely take over these team fights and one-shot everyone, which could be a possibility if they get a big enough lead.
Yeah, and am appreciating that both teams have a lot of engage opportunities between the Mbessa's ult and there's a sneaky flank option with the Kha'Zix, usually not an engaged champion, a flash charm out of the Ahri, and then Nautilus classic hook, classic from the deep ultimate just to pop someone or pop the whole line of team members on the way to the target. Meanwhile, Oasis, plenty of engage options. Human Faith can jump in with his own ult. The Wind Becomes Lightning combo between the Xin Zhao, Lissandra is a classic, just go right in and blow up a situation. So there's a lot of tools in hand for team fights, for skirmishes and things like that. And this is a very skirmish heavy league, unsurprisingly. The discipline is not Korean. It is not Korean at all. If these matches go to 20 minutes with no let's say less than 10 kills, it is a miraculous day, and we should all go gamble our life savings in something that's not the stock market. So we are going to go ahead and get ourselves a little bit of a break. We'll see you on the Rift. Keep that tab open. Alrighty, let's get loaded on in here, everybody. We are getting ourselves started into this bottom of the barrel brawl between Team Elkay and Team Oasis. Can't say we have a lot of background on how these teams like to play, whether or not they're gonna want to play it slow, if they're gonna look for any invades, early fights, things like that. We are seeing a 2 ward bush down here in the bot lane, so both teams trying to play for information. No scanners on either team, so going to be pretty stabilized. Lissandra getting that ward over into Kaz X chicken coop.
Yeah, the biggest thing to really look out for here is the side lanes of both teams. Top lane and bot lane going to be absolute Armageddon. Just going to be fighting. I mean, you can tell just by the combat summoners of top lane, Ignite and Exhaust being locked in. But also just the nature of bot lane of, Swain looking for a lot of damage and burst, but decently squishy, especially Nami. If Nautilus is able to land hooks onto Nami, it could be, it will be a lot of damage. That's why we see that bot lane ward, and immediately...
Exhaust traded out there from Human Fate, trying to get all the way in here. Panda Boy might have overstayed his welcome, just level 1 here. This could be first blood. Flash not spent by Panda Boy in that exchange. No summoner spell used by Panda Boy in that exchange. Okay.
Yeah, Armageddon. It's going to be pure all-ins from both sides, especially in the top lane. Exhaust being used just to even reduce the movement speed and land the Qs for Yone. Very smart and very needed in this kind of matchup. And Bessa runs out of damage really fast, so the faster that Yone is able to get those attack speed items online, the faster that he's just going to be able to dominate this top side. And with the way that Elkay has their team comp being, they're going to need a lot of people to shut down this Yone, or else he's just going to be able to either outplay them very easily or just walk away.
Yeah, the secret carry inside of Team Oasis by, well, we got an exchange here. Hook's going to land onto Swain. Dark Flare Mage. Gao Gao trying to get themselves out of here. Is ignited. Jake trying to push away. The Dragon's getting low as well here. Barrier's going to be spent out here. Flash away from the hook. And now, I'm sorry, this is about to be a double kill situation here. 1 kill going over to, Nami. Jake is going to get the kill onto the Dragon. I'm sorry, the Smolder gets nothing out of that. 2 kills go into Tricky Z's pocket. Bloody indeed. It is heating up on this rift here. Oasis might be a very calm environment in the middle of a desert, but I believe the flames and the sand will be swirling through this match here.
And Swain is honestly the bigger winner there. Obviously, neither AD carry is able to get any of those kills or gold, but with the wave not being able to be crashed by Tricky Z, Swain is able to collect 2 waves that Smolder missed out on that whole exchange. I was a little curious about why Dark Flare Mage waited so long to use Ghost. I mean, Ghost is kind of one of those spells that you can't just use, but nothing gank mid. Ghost is usually one of those spells, kind of like Heal, where you kind of just willy-nilly use it. It's such a short cooldown. It's only 3 minutes, so you can just kind of pop it and not feel bad about it. But he popped it as soon as he was dying. A little unfortunate. Might have been able to outplay it a little bit more, but...
Out of the jungle here. I'm sorry, Billy's been caught out here. Astro Smash is about to smash through. Flash over the wall into the red buff. No one's going to follow on that. Reserving their summoner spells for other engages. Dominax might be in trouble. He's going to get rooted. He's going to get knocked up. Flashes away, but I think it's going to be 4-0. Auto attack confirms it. Tungy with a kill. And the top lanes here are super low. Very quick pivot. Very well-informed pivot on the side of Oasis to identify that opportunity. Now we're going to have a kill back return. Panda Boy getting their revenge. Human Faith taken down. I don't care what you believe, and I don't believe in you right now. Dark Flare Mage going to get hooked up, trying to fancy foot it. The heal's going to come in. Going to try to at least zone out with his Eye of the Empire. Is going to survive. Both AD carries not faring very well after that trade.
A lot of sustain on the red side, though. Swain is able to obviously naturally heal up from his own Ian passive, but also Nami healing is quite suitable. Nami running out of a lot of mana early on, though, due to her taking Guardian, which she felt was necessary for this Nautilus lane, and I can definitely see the argument for that, but with no mana flow band, makes things a little bit more awkward.
And the Ignite just came off cooldown for this Nautilus. This might be an engage that they don't want to sign up for. Good exchange of damage, but again, both mana pools on the side of Oasis for this bot lane are getting kind of low. The Q from Swain early on in this champion always feels very low. It feels like it drains it very quickly. You cannot spam any of Swain's spells in the bot lane when you're playing him in this role. It's not as free as you might want it to be. A little bit of a trade of damage here, top lane. Panda Boy and Human Faith going at it. Looks pretty evened out. Soft gank. Astro Smash walking in with his friends, trying to get a catch. The root's going to hit here. Oh no, that's a dead dragon. I'm sorry, Juggernaut. You're being turned into a pair of boots here for Mr. Swainy Boy. So, Bird beats Dragon. This is what we have learned so far in this bot lane matchup.
Well, and so far Oasis is just putting the gold right where they need it. Yone having that first blood, obviously dying later, but I think that was just a little bit of an ego play from Human Faith, but still being up 200 gold and having recurve bow double dagger, and probably going to be catching Kha'Zix taking those Krugs. No ping though, so maybe they caught it, hopefully. But Lissandra also being able to accelerate into this Ahri matchup will make Ahri absolutely hate her life, and Swain getting some more gold is always handy. The thing is though, fundamentally Oasis's champs are just very strong into what Elkay's are. Elkay wants to be very fluid and outplay and outmaneuver, but when they have so much lockdown with specifically Lissandra to play off of, it's going to be very difficult for things like Kha'Zix and Bessa and Ahri to even be able to play these team fights and skirmishes if they play around their cooldowns correctly.
Zaskia Kanaji is going to miss that hit. Oh boy, he's going to get knocked down, slammed down. Panda Boy with their second kill. The gold difference is actually on Panda Boy's side, but it's not much. Right now, the only great advantage that's been acquired has just been from Tungy in the mid lane, and that looks mostly to be like a CS difference with like the 1 kill over. So still, the game is still stable. It's not entirely out of the hands of Team Elkay just yet. But it is, the proactivity feels far more in Oasis's hands here with just how Astro Smash has been able to at least get the bot lane accelerated. And sure, Billy just made a move up top, but still, right now things are feeling very positive for Oasis.
I really can't blame Human Faith for dying there. That's such a weird timer. I mean, he saw Billy on the Krugs, and you'd expect Billy to recall, but honestly, watching Billy's path, I've been very curious about where he's going every single reset as well. But landing.
He's going to land on, and Swen's going to have to flash his way out. Depth charge is going to knock him up here. The auto attacks are coming through, flashing from Juggernaut to try to confirm the kill, but
he lives.
Dark Gaogao has survived. And Gaogao is going to have to keep running here. The Kha'Zix trying to hunt them down, but he might actually catch himself some fish. Jake's going to flash away. Heal already used. This is turning into a tower dive. The flame. Mom does not secure the kill. This is going to be a handover. This is actually less than ideal. Juggernaut finally on the board for the kills here. And we're having fights all over the place. Doesn't look like it's going to be... Oh, that's getting close. Domlax looking for a kill. Spends his last bit of mana. This got to be finished off. And Billy roaming from bottom to top. Finding themselves one after the other with successful dives and kills, and now a 2-for-1. Panda Boy's going to try to get themselves out. Will get the kill back. He's going to ultimate onto the Xin Zhao, and is going to be able to actually confirm that kill. Actually, no. My mistake here. Astro Smash come in to correct the situation. Billy from bottom to top is going to get themselves 2 kills and an assist. We are at 13 kills. We are not at 10 minutes left. We are beating 1 kill a minute right now. This is definitely Armageddon in hand. The fields are aflame.
One of the most tilting things to ever experience as either a player or a coach is watching your players die to a jungler that goes from lane to lane to lane in a straight line and is successful. And I just felt that same way with Billy going bot, getting a successful dive, going mid and getting a kill, and going top, but
Ult knocked out here. Dark Flare Mage Gaogao looking for a little bit of extra. They're going to tie him out. Doesn't even hit the damage with the explosion. It feels kind of like a waste. No kill garnered. Really reaching for it. Really reaching for it after the series of kills that just have gone over into Elkay's advantage. And now another engage. A little bit of damage trading out here. Human Faith trying to get the equalize. Going to be able to get quite a bit of damage here. He's going to miss the knockup. That might have actually secured the kill. But it will not be so.
I'm assuming that's kind of how the matchup goes, is you kind of bait out the cooldowns of Ambessa and then try to heavy trade. Yone obviously likes those longer trades with lethal tempo. Astro Smash,
Oh,
though.
ult, Astro Smash looking for it. It's going to cut down Astro Smash real hard. Billy is going to get knocked up here. Ultimate's going to actually confirm, and they're going to be able to blow him up here. The knockback from Astro Smash is perfect, but this Ambessa is still going to be trying to go in, and the knock up through the wall. Human Fate secures it. I am very impressed with how that exchange went. Astro Smash with a perfect ultimate to deny Panda Boy coming in to save his jungler. And now Spirit Rush used to no effect. So just trading out abilities in the mid lane.
Yeah, pretty good trade there in the top side. Human Faith played that quite well. Did need to use Flash, though, so do need to watch that against the public execution later on with Mbessa coming back up. No Flash on Mbessa either, but with the Ignite coming up, there could be lethal. I mean, you have an item and a half on this Mbessa with Electrocute. There's a lot of burst damage, so the question is, does she have enough damage to just one-shot Yone, or is it not enough where he can kind of survive it through and then force a even longer trade and eventually win it. Bork now online, though, for this Yone, so he is fully spiked with the Zerker Greaves as well, kind of catching up to his laner's item spikes. So this Yone is going to start to be a really big issue as this game continues to trudge on.
Trudge, Judge, Executioner. I don't know. Everyone has died at least once, except for Tricky Z, surprisingly. Surprisingly, the Engage support has been able to maintain his first and only life so far. Impressive, to say the least. Mbessa gonna get the jump on. A lot of damage traded out here, missing their Qs. And the ultimate's gonna come in and knock down. I'm sorry, Human Faith. You have been denied once again. Panda Boy really putting the hurt on what I've been told is actually the second best top laner in the league this season. Panda Boy making a name for himself. I might have spoken too soon here. Tricky Z, you're going to get caught out here, knocked up. The tidal wave denying the root from the Lissandra. Help, Mom comes in to put down some counter damage. We will finally go down here. Now, Ari, I'm sorry, Domlex, this is not where you want to be here. The charm's going to come through, but the kill's going to be confirmed by Lissandra. And Dark Flame, Gao Gao's been just running Juggernaut down.
Yeah, so the saving grace of Mbessa topside is kind of what Elkay needs to be looking out for. The Kha'Zix and Mbessa don't really want to team fight, nor do Smolder. Smolder not really having the stacks to be able to team fight just yet. However, you know, Tungy and Dark Flare Mage, their champions love these kind of earlier skirmishes that are a little bit more low resource. They have a lot of good base stats, especially Swain. Is very infamous for having that. As well as we saw what Aria's POV is going to be like practically this whole game. You're going to ulti in, try to make something happen, Glacial Tomb immediately, and you're one-tapped. It's kind of just the way the Ari-Lissandra matchup works. That's why people love to pick Lissandra. But as we said before, this Ambessa has a lot of damage. That kill on the Human Faith was through exhaust as well. So, I don't know. He's got to play a little bit more smart to be able to win this. But
that's the ultimate out here, and the Spirit used. And he's going to go back here. Oh, and this tower kill last shot 2 kills over to this Yone. 5-5-1 versus the 8-4-1 Mbessa. Gold is still identical. This is insane. It's actually insane from these. And that is not good. I hope that actually is a little bit of a pause. There we go. Alrighty, Gao Gao. I'm going to kick their PC in frustration there at some exchanges in the top lane. But now we sit in a situation where Human Faith has landed a great outplay. This is a 2-for-1 exchange. It's always what you want to have, is either a 1-for-1 trade when there's a gank coming onto you, if you can manage it. It's sometimes really hard if everyone's full health. We see that in like LPL, LCK matches and in the Tier 1 world. But this is still, there's not been a great exchange of advantage. The greatest advantage I'm spotting just right now, Tivon, is just that the first 2 Drakes have gone over to Oasis, but there's a 3 Grubs. The first round of 3 Grubs have gone on over to Elkay.
Yeah, I don't really think Grubs are going to be mattering all that much this game. just due to, there's not really a side laner for Elkay to be able to use those grubs on. I mean, Ambessa can side lane, but with the way that Elkay has been playing, it really is just going to be team fights. I mean, that's kind of just the way that this league works, is everyone just wants to perma fight. Ambessa now having the Axiom Arc alongside the Profane Hydra, it's a really big spike. But once Yone gets Immortal Shield Bow, I feel like the matchup will start to shift a little bit more. You kind of, every time we pan up top, you kind of see when the lane is successful for Yone. It's, again, when you're able to bait out the cooldowns of Ambessa and then re-engage. So I'd like to describe LK's comp as a shotgun comp. And what I mean by that is just the heavy burst and the damage going out all at once. And if it kills someone, then great. And if it doesn't kill anyone, then you're just going to kind of get run over and lose the fight. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for as the match progresses, if it progresses. But just kidding. I was going to say, that pause bug, I don't know how this game has been out for 16 years and that bug is still in the game. I think you're right, Games. Smile.
Big smile emoji with all the teeth. The only consistent damage you would say on the side of Elkay would be the Smolder, but even then, that still has a timer for scaling up to 118 stacks so far. We have a gank at the top lane. Knockup's going to land on, and I'm sorry, Panda Boy, you're already not getting out of this. It doesn't even get the counter kill. Astro Smash makes it out with a sliver of health. And it looks like Jake was off in the corner there. A little bit of an over-indexing of resources. Kha'Zix and Ahri looking for a dive onto this Lissandra possibly. I think Billy is just trying to trade out and get all of the camps there.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really anything to fight for. Rift Herald did just spawn, so some rotations could be necessary for that. TP is up for Lissandra, not quite up for Ahri, but the aforementioned Grubs does kind of push Lissandra away from TPing away so early, just because Ahri can easily take that bot lane tower. But I don't really think Oasis needs that teleport, as they can kind of just have full top lane control with the top T1 tower being taken down from Human Faith. And it seems that Elkay is going to look for a fight on this Herald, but it's just a little too late.
Yeah, too little too late here. Sven's going to pop his ult here. He's already a fire. He will not be able to actually get too much else for the health recovery. He's trying to just maintain a little bit of challenge, or just channeling damage onto the Nautilus, but Nautilus is going to go down. Another fight in the top lane. Unsurprisingly, I think Panda Boy is going to get run down, but this rotation of spells returns, and Panda Boy will win out that duel with the smallest margin of health. And now we have a full exchange. Charm's going to land. Tungy is going to need to find a way through the two, encloses Domlex, but does not kill him. And now Astro Smash coming in, trying to clean this one up. Charm will not land. It's going to be killing time here. Blast Gun's going to hit, but the Auto Tech's going to run in, and Astro Smash will confirm that kill. 4-2-7 on the Xin Zhao. Astro Smash's been having a pretty good game. None of that hyper excessive farming we've seen from other junglers with the Xin Zhao in hand. Proactive from the beginning, and really reading the map well enough to just clean up Tungy's fight and really kind of keep Human Faith on the board, as the Ambessa versus Yone fight has been very back and forth so far.
Also, Astro Smash is able to, I mean, he is farming well though. Like that's kind of the thing, is after his timers of his camps, like he is using his timers properly, because there's kind of this like 45-second minute. Well, Lissandra's dead here.
Oh, Lissandra's gonna get caught out here. Not gonna get too much further. The hook's gonna miss. Gonna self-ult. I'm not sure why. He's gonna get the root and dead.
Okay.
It's on a small timer. It's already going down pretty fast, but still a little confusing. Tippin's gonna hit, and now we're gonna have another jump on Astro Smash with the other kill. Soul Unbound will take Human Faith out of turret range. A little three-man movement here. Gao trying to clear the wave, trying to keep this turret alive for as long as possible. Back and forth here. Top side, bot side has been the real priority. This mid lane could have a fight at any moment.
It's all up to Nautilus Hook, but I don't really think they can kill Swain at this point. I mean, Smolder has just no damage at this point. I really do like that both teams are able to cross map against each other. You know, if Elkay is making a topside play, then immediately Oasis is trading and playing bot side. And that's all due to the vision that Jake is able to get. I feel like the counter punches that Oasis is doing is due to the vision that this Nami is getting down. I mean, if you look at your map right now, below the blue side red buff, there's a ward. There's a lot of deep wards. It's always deep wards. But not deep wards for the top side. So every time they try to reclaim top, they're just dying. Both teams are living in each other's red side jungle. Red side is in like the buff. And it's really funny because you know, like, if I see that ward that's near red buff, I kind of have all the information I need. But it's just like they're being so disrespectful to where the enemy team could be. I mean, you're playing against Kha'Zix, Ahri, and Bessa, bro. Like, they could be in any bush. That's the way their comp works.
Yeah, this is very much assassin ready to jump on and blow up and not have a chance. I don't, even if Tungi had Zanya's hourglass, let's say, in that last exchange by tier 2 topside, you're just delaying the inevitable. It's not really going to change anything. There is some level of hubris that would appear from both sides, and maybe more from Oasis. Just keeps going topside to try to reclaim or try to get Human Faith back into, or accelerate Human Faith beyond the matchup with Panda Boy to really enable, and that's gonna be a catch onto the Ahri here. Domlak's gonna hit the Spear Witch to try to jump away, and he's gonna go. They're gonna go all the way, all the turret shots, but that shield pretty much saves Human Faith from taking any more critical damage, and now Astro Smash has found himself in a very dangerous way. He's going to bait Billy all the way up top. Billy's going to hit his ultimate to cloak and get himself out of the situation. Nautilus is going to get caught, but there's not much else to be done here, and now the ambassador has arrived here. She will have some sushi, and she wants some bird on the side here. The second charge is not able to be brought out, but Lysandra with the root double kill picks out the Mbessa and the Smolder, is not going to overextend. Just waiting for Astro Smash to finish this hammer and anvil strategy, and he will jump over the wall into the bush to secure it. Knocks the Nautilus back over the wall. You will be confirmed, but Domalax is here to handle it, and now double kill over to the Xin Zhao. He will continue his rampage. He will continue killing everyone he sees, and that is a ace. Triple kill over to Xin Zhao, while Human Faith takes out the tier 2. That is a sequence, if I've ever seen one, of a Xin Zhao, a good Xin Zhao that's fed and is playing their stuff out, and the team is communicating. That was fantastic.
Yeah, guys, Xin Zhao looks really bad this patch. We should never pick him. Like, for sure, guys. I don't know, man. How do you just see what? I mean, the thing is, you say he's fed. Honestly, he's not really that fed in the context of the game. I mean, he's about to recall him by a whole Guardian Angel. But during, or a Death Stance. No, it is Guardian. And didn't even fully get it. But at that point, he was 2 items. That, you know, a 2-item Xin Zhao can do all of that, and everyone else has 2 items in this game. So, like, oh, okay, we're just
snipe out here. I'm sorry, Gao Gao, you're going down here. Your Dark Flare has been snuffed. I believe this will actually get them to mid tier 1 finally. They get to break open the map. And now the ward advantage, the bot side of the map is going to get darkened out here. Human Fate's going to have to be on notice. There is the Infernal Dragon will be up in a minute 20. I think they're trying to catch Human Fate out. He is going to try to get on in and get a kill off. Misses the ultimate, goes super wide here, thinks he's going to be able to secure the kill. What? Does actually get Billy, get the jungler out of the equation. That is a 34-second death timer on Billy, and now the fight continues here. Xin Zhao is back for more here. He is ultimate. You're not going to be able to hit him unless you're in face tanking range. He's going to be able to jump on. Lysandra going forward here, trying to catch onto the Smolder. When becomes lightning will not strike here. Nautilus is going to try to go in to try to do a little bit of something disruption. Juggernaut trying to get the confirmation kill, will not go down here. And now Domflax trying to get the confirmed kill, but everyone's so low, and then they all recover here. Astro Smash is unkillable.
Okay. Oh, Astro Smash is on a tear right now, but someone that is also on a tear that we haven't really talked a lot about is Tungi, who is 3.5k ahead of this Ahri. And like looking at the Lysandra, like, yeah, she's doing good, whatever. It's more about making sure that this Ahri isn't doing anything. That is a 1 in 7 Ahri, not even 2 items. Oh, what are we doing there, bro? We just saw them all bots.
That's a windshield moment for that bug, I gotta tell you.
But like that's kind of the point of this Lissandra champ, right? Is to make sure that Ari cannot play the game. But it's a TP from Mbessa into the bot side, and it is a pinch for a dead Ice Lady.
Oh, it's not going to be as warm as you would like it to be here. It's going to have to use the ultimate. It's going to get denied. Tongi just trying to maximize the investment that's necessary for Elkay to get the kill, but Human Faith is going to take care of this turret. That's a trade. A death for an objective is always a fair trade, and that is sole point over to Oasis. They have secured not only their nice little bit of water and trees in the desert, they have fortified it with flame to pretty much put this little water tank down. You will be ripped from your wall, Team Elkay. And this is we're going the distance here. 23 minutes in, about to hit 24. Soul point acquired. 6k gold lead, and a Xin Zhao that won't die with an Ahri that's been basically neutered in this game. This has been a fantastic brawl match. This is what we're looking for. This has actually been pretty exciting so far, Yvonne.
Yeah, with Ahri out of the equation, it allows Oasis to just fully build only armor because it's only 80 threats. Oh my god, that lethality damage. Wait, he wins this.
He's done. It's done and over. The knockout's going to confirm it here. Down to 1 health here. I don't know how you call that, but he did confirm. And two people just face checked into this Xin Zhao. They don't want it here. Bug's already jumped away here. Smolder's going to try getting his damage, and he has hit his stacks. The execution is available. It's not super high, and Tricky Z is going to go down, but I'm sorry, Billy and Juggernaut don't want any of this. You can call me the Juggernaut. I am a bitch. I have been handled today. Astra Smash flares his ultimate, but they are heading for the big purple worm.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the easiest Baron of their life. They don't even really need Yone. It's going to be slow due to them not really having that consistent of a damage dealer. I mean, sure, Swain and Lissandra, but I guess it's how shreds it enough. It might be one of the slowest Barons you've ever seen in your life, but with Yone still pulling attention towards the bot side. But you now see Kha'Zix slowly start to rotate, but they know it's just over. Easy kill for Baron. 5 minutes still on the timer for Elder Dragons, so with this Baron, you should be able to play a 1-3-1 or even just a 1-4, overload 2 inhibitors, or maybe 3, and potentially look for an end, especially with these item spikes online. A Frozen Heart for Swain, Lissandra with the Zonias, and Yone almost at Death's Dance. Level 18 starting to get popped as well. This should just be a game that's over before Smolder could even interact with his 225 that he did get in that last fight. But with the way that the comps work, he's kind of not really able to output that much damage. And even when he does, he's fighting against so much armor that Oasis is stacking.
Yeah, and at this point, every single player on the side of Oasis actually has a level lead. Forget any of the gold differentials. The 80 carries, the Swain versus the Smolder is actually like a 10 gold difference. And we're having another fight here. Ult's going to come on in. Yone trying to get the last that he can. He's going to jump on whatever he can. Ult coming in from the Mbessa will secure nothing. Panda Boy put down by Human Faith, and Billy is just going to be left in the bush, I think. It's better that the jungler just wastes time, or has their time wasted. Nope, you will not be allowed to recall. Human Faith secures the kill. Windshield applied to the face, and it's just the Ahri and the Nautilus and the Smolder to hold the line here. Tricky Z is going to be executed. His corpse sent to chase down his friends. And that is finally a very good demonic ascension from Gao Gao on this Swain. They are pressing their advantage on, and they may try to end right now. Bottom inhibitor being taken out by the Yone, and Smolder, there's not enough time for him to get the spell rotations off to put out the damage. That's what you were saying earlier. So Baron buffed, bot and top lane coming in. We're going to be losing some Nexus turrets, and I believe the rest of this match might be a wrap. Tricky Z's going to be backed up in about 5 seconds here. Ult's going to come on in. They've got actually to confirm some kills, and there's some low health bars on the side of Oasis. I think they're going to have to exit and come back with the second half of their Baron buff before they can finish this game.
If I know this league like I think I do, someone from Elkay is going to overextend trying to get a freebie or what they think is going to be a freebie, and then they're going to die and lose the game. And I think it's going to be Panda Boy here. Yep.
Panda Boy's looking for it. He's going to jump on. Solo Unbound's going to try to buy some distance here, but the Plasandra's going to come over, trying to help confirm the kill. Will get it with the Entomb. That will at least remove... It might actually end up removing the Baron buff just by timer element here. Is there... Yeah, 10 seconds left on the Baron, so that Baron buff is gone. Will not be allowed to be used much further than these moments right here in the mid lane, as they try to at least get a third inhibitor down. But we might actually be looking next for just an Elder Drake fight to wrap up this match, unless Oasis just wants to try to finish, 4v5. I don't think that's going to really happen here.
I want to say Yone has TP with the top lane quest up. But yeah, they shouldn't really be pressuring all that much. They do have the permanent pushing waves of top and bot to be able to pressure this mid inhib. But it's mostly just starving them of resources other than obviously those pushing waves. Trying to just choke them out and finding a pick onto someone like Billy, who might just be dead. Yep.
Billy has been busted. They don't need a buff. And Hib's going down here. Triple Z is going to be caught out here. Big damage to the Camaros. Invest has gotten into the middle of everything. Everyone's gone golden to try to actually survive here. Panda Boy has taken out Jake, and there's still goddamn much. This Holder's been hitting free. And oh my gosh, that was a two-shot here. Xin Zhao is going to take it here, and he's going to flash in to get the Wind Becomes Lightning strike to execute Domlax. That fight almost did it. Team Elkay almost flipped it to get themselves a team fight win, but Oasis will get themselves their second map win inside this league here.
Yeah, I mean, Elkay had a really great start, but they just didn't really know how to continue to push the note with it. Having the lead on Mbessa and Kha'Zix is a great lead, but the thing about a comp like that, especially playing a champion like Kha'Zix, is this isn't really like solo queue. We're able to just continuously get a lot of free kills and free kills. Playing Kha'Zix in comp is actually a lot more difficult than you'd think. A lot of people are grouped up. A lot of people are on the same timers, which is usually when you punish people as Kha'Zix, is when they're lacking those bad timers. And once people like the Yone started to respect those timers, it was really difficult to be able to find those picks. And so then it became team fights, and Oasis had just a pure team fight comp. And those team fights just didn't even look close at all for Elkay to even try to win. So, the water in their water fountain drained quite easily as Oasis just emptied them out and won the game very steadily. And I really hope that this game shows people that Xin Zhao is a very strong jungler and people should pick it more. I'm not biased or anything.
I may be biased, but I am a professional. That was a fantastic shellacking here, and frankly, just the amount of map control that was able to be executed on the side of Oasis, particularly with we usually try to give the game plan of how at least the main dragons and so on are taken to the jungler, and maybe even with between Jake and Astra Smash being on the map to be able to coordinate things very well. Well, Human Faith kept it pretty even with Panda Boy topside. We have gotten ourselves locked in for game 2, at least with the rosters. So at this point, I think everyone wants to appreciate the actual damage output between the Mbessa, respectable, but also that Xin Zhao being the second highest damage in the entire game, beating out the Smolder. And with that, I believe we can get ourselves to a break. We will see you for draft of game 2 between the Elkay, I don't know how to pronounce the rest of that, and Team Oasis. Game 2 draft is in front of us. Team Elkay has chosen not to change anyone on their roster for this second game. Oasis, they've brought in Luke for the jungler instead of Astra Smash. And they have also traded out Tungy for Justin. So very happy, I believe, with how that first game went. Gao Gao, Jake, and the Human Faith will be sticking with us in the 80 carry support and top roles. But I wanted to point this out, actually. I noticed this while we were getting ready to come on into draft here. This will be the second time in a row that Oasis actually is coming into a match against the Team LK with a point difference between at least the two teams. And I still feel like, at least with how that game went, depending on how Luke can play, if he can match any of the output that Astro Smash was able to provide, I'm kind of favoring Oasis because Jake, the captain, is still on the team, still in the roster right now.
I mean, honestly, like in my opinion, the reason that that last game was just so easy to play was like their draft, and I know I say this a lot, but their draft was just easier to play. Draft doesn't really determine games fully. Sometimes it can, but when you're able to just kind of play champions that operate easier, like in terms of like the grand scheme of the game itself, it becomes like the skill difference doesn't really matter all that much because it kind of equalizes based off of the amount of effort needed. So something that I want Oasis to try and do this go around is doing the same thing. Just try to find like a team fight comp that is able to kind of play itself, just kind of chill, let your bruisers and carries kind of develop leads, and then eventually win the game and also continue to stack dragons like they were before. But instead, we're picking Nefiri. Um, Not my favorite champion in this current meta. That's a jungler that doesn't have bruiser or really easy gank setup. So already I'm a little concerned for Oasis.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a troubling pick here. We were kind of enjoying more of a standardized draft in the previous game, except for the Swain. That is actually a little bit of a defer from the normal. And can't say that Neferi is very obviously going into the mid or jungle. I've seen it in both, but it does. It's not clear that it is a selection that goes into the Victor, for example, or into the Mbessa with any great advantage, if whether it be in the middle or the jungle. The Thresh pickup is exciting for an old head like myself, but it's not clear like what they're being paired with right now. The 80 carries have kind of been weighted out, and will slowly, and the bans will come through for it. We've had a Renekton and then a Varus ban from either side. Swain's being taken away from Gao Gao, Dark Flare Mage on your screens, everybody. So I'm not sure what the limitation's going to be here. Sivir taken away from Juggernaut. This is developing,
It's an
but it's
interesting bans from Oasis because when I see Thresh, I immediately think of things like Aphelios and Jinx, those hyper carries that don't really have any mobility. Thresh is able to kind of be that mobility for them with that Dark Lantern. Um, so I'm a little curious about them being concerned about Varus or Sivir. Uh, Corki is definitely a pick that you can pick with Thresh. I mean, it's not that bad. I think Corki does really well into the champs of Oasis that they've shown so far. Thresh is just kind of an odd pairing. He isn't strong per se. He's really just a lantern bot and obviously can peel pretty well. And I mean, you can engage with his hook. It's just not as reliable as it used to. But if your plan was kind of picking something like a Corki, uh, uh, man,
I'm
I
sorry. I'm
really liked
sorry.
last game, bro. What
I'm
is
so
going on
sorry. I'm
here?
sorry, Tivon. I'm sorry, man. Oasis is going off the reservation here. They have left the safety of their previous draft. I don't know if that's because it's now Luke and Justin in their mid lane, but there is a great change into how Oasis wants to play this game. Very so that Neferi is going. I have no idea what's happening anymore. I think Gao Gao's
Uh,
taking
so
the
yeah, it's
Vagar.
it's Vigar 80 carry. I think it's gonna be Kane top, Nefiri jungle, and Ari mid. I think that's the safest avenue. Um,
I totally forgot about the Ari.
I hate it all. It's just like you could put you could give me like and we put yeah Kane
And
top and a
then
Garen the classic top lane matchup.
this is a Garen top lane. So Garen top lane for the LK, Victor mid, Corki and Thresh bot lane, and the Mbess is in the jungle. So Panda Boy switching their strategy into Human Faith with, and he said, and you think it's the Nefiri going in the jungle and the Kayn in the top lane?
I don't think Nefiri can really top lane. I think Kane is more of a top laner than Nefiri is. Um, it's the classic Baus thing. Of like going lethality or you go red Kane with like lethality items and stuff like that. Kane is really good about beating up bruisers. He's actually very good as an anti melee. So I'm wondering if Human Faith was like, oh yeah, I can pick Kane into Mbessa. Assuming that Panda Boy was repeating like the salty run back of Mbessa.
Yeah, if that's
Um,
the case, that's a weird flex, but go off, King.
yeah, yeah. Um, Still not the biggest fan of it. I think it's just kind like the thing for Oasis is who is tanking the Thresh hook? Also, who's initiating any fight? Also, who is gonna kill the Garen? There's a lot of questions for the side of Oasis's comp. Um, but LK's comp is pretty solid. Oh, it's Garen jungle.
That
Of
makes
course, it's
sense. That
Garen
makes all the
jungle.
sense. That's so sensible. I don't know. That's that's all the sense I need. That's a whole dollar's worth of sense, actually.
My head hurts, Church.
I understand it hurts for many reasons with how the night is going here. So for everyone, just so you can see it on on your screen, then I will confirm it verbally. The Mbess is in the top lane for Team LK with Garen in the jungle, Victor in mid lane, Corki and Thresh in the bot lane. That's all nice and easy potatoes. The Garen being the spicy meatball in that spaghetti sauce. But Human Faith has taken Kane into the top lane. Luke has rotated in for Astramash and has decided to be the angry doggo, with Justin taking the Ahri to kind of show Domlax how to play it, I hope. Gao Gao, Jake are still with us, but Gao Gao, sticking to their mage roots, has brought in the Vagar and Jake with the Nami once again. The plane is set, the table has been organized, and it is all chaos. The dishes are on fire, and no one is very sure why there is a cockroach in the gelatin. But we will get to this meal once we get back from the break. Keep that tab open. We'll see you soon. Game 2 is live. We're getting ourselves in here. Team Elkay, brought to you by Elkay Water Fountains at all your local public schools. And for your thirsty needs, Oasis. They're not thirsty at all here. They've gotten themselves their first win of the night, their second win in this season. But they have also entered into this match with the most profound, the most problematic, concerning. I have, in fact, put on speed dial a bit of emergency care for T-Von, because if they get to win with this comp, I'm not sure how do you think you're going to take that, T-Von, if Oasis actually pull out the dub on this second map with this ridiculous comp?
Well, I luckily have therapy coming up in a couple days, so she will hear about it. I like it will be. I just like, sometimes as a color caster, I try to like envision how these champions operate with each other, and try to kind of predict in my head like how team fights are gonna happen, so that like that's kind of where I judge analysis off is that.
Hook's gonna land. Veigar gonna get popped down a bit here. Gao gonna be in some pain. And that might be how this keeps going. You were saying?
Yeah, I have no idea how Oasis is ever gonna play this game. Like what we just saw there, Tricky Z hitting the hook. I think that's just gonna happen all game. Is one of these squishy champions are gonna get hit by a hook, and then someone's gonna get blown up with Victor Laser or Corky damage, on top of a public execution in Garen. They just don't have damage. They don't have engage. They have scaling, I guess, but like they don't really have a lot.
They have a baby cage. They do have a baby cage.
That gives them a lot of space.
But I just don't anticipate that they're going to have the coordination to use the baby cage for the spacing that's needed. The tankiest characters that they're going to have, Charm lands, so Domlax and Justin giving each other the hurt. But it's really hard for even tier 1 teams to really utilize the baby cage properly to space themselves between the enemy and use that properly. The Human Faith and Luke are the only ones that have any sort of tanking ability with their champions per se, but Kane's usually more of a brawling type if it's Red Kane, and Nefiri can build kind of bruisery tanky and has an ability that just allows for someone to, kind of disrespect and provide, that space and get out of trouble. But that's, again, the synergy between these champions is a puzzle. It's a puzzle that Oasis needs to figure out, because we're not gonna spend many more resources trying to see how it goes.
Well, even if they do go those bruiser builds, it's just like, okay, well then what's the damage that's supporting those bruiser builds? Because they're not going to be outputting that much damage. And I look, and their supporting cast is Ari and Veigar, which can do damage, but they need kind of time to do so. Whereas the supporting cast of Elkay has two very high DPS output champions. Speaking of DPS,
and that's going to go down here, and I'm sorry, your first blood's going to go over to the Human Faith. I don't think Panda Boy was ready for that matchup. Ignites exchange, but the Human Faith will burn hotter than Panda Boy this time here. The grudge match continues between these two.
If I had a nickel for every time Human Faith has solo killed Panda Boy, I'd have 2 nickels by now, Church.
That's actually incredibly insulting against the Human Faith. But Panda Boy has done themselves proud with how this entire long-standing matchup has gone between Game 1 and Game 2. We'll see if Panda Boy will continue owning the situation. I kind of end up thinking, with how the ultimate exchange works, just in that simple dynamic, that advantage kind of goes over to Human Faith.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. If you Kane ult as the Garen ult goes through, does the Kane die? Oh wow.
Wow.
We missed a lot of spells there.
Dancy feet here from Tricky Z, and poor aim from Jake. I kind of was hoping that the bubble was going to do something here. Garen's going to meet the dog in the water. He's going to have to run away. No help topside. Billy has gone on to their second clearing waves over at the Wolves right now. Low activity. We're actually a little bit of a low activity here. 5 minutes in.
Well, yeah, because Oasis can't do anything. Like, none of their champs can do anything to initiate any sort of combat. I mean, obviously, like, Kayn was able to get that first blood, but Fury doesn't really gank early until she gets her ult. But even when she gets her ult, it's like, who who helps CC? I mean, I guess you can go onto a charm with Victor, but Arcane needs to get ult first before that as well. Also, follow up of that question earlier. My guess is that Kayn ult, if you Kayn ult and then get Garen ulted as you're like going to Kayn ult, I think you still take the damage. Because if you get ignited,
Oh, there's the
hold on.
ultimate exchange here. I'm not sure this is actually what you want to be here. Human Faith is still alive at 1 health. Luke is up here, but not with level 6 here, while Billy has been taking the Ocean Drake. This is a awkward standoff here right now, trying to buy space from Panda Boy, who has the health advantage here and will start healing up with that passive. This wave needs to get crashed. And Luke shadowing Human Faith to make sure he can do that. So the back up and the reset here. So ults exchange, Ignite's not in hand for that fight. That might have been the bigger deciding element in that duel. But top laners will reset and come on back later. Charm lands. Domlax going to put down the gravity field to try to keep Luke away from him. And we're once again going into it. Jake is in a bit of trouble here. On fire, hooked up. Panda Boy has made... Nope, that's Billy. I'm sorry here. Someone else is piloting the Ambessa. But that will be Jake. Cut up, diced up. Advantage going over to Team Elkay here in the early game.
I mean, that's kind of the only place that Billy really can go, and with not even having to use public execution, obviously feels really nice. Now you can start to put pressure onto mid lane as well after the Scuttle Crab is done. One problem I'm going to be noticing for Oasis, though, as the game continues to go through, is there's going to be a lot of scaling for the damage of Oasis. I'm seeing Dark Flare Mage is going Roa and Archangel, so this Vigar is going to take a long time to really start to get damage online. And I'm going to continue to note about the damage output of Oasis, because I think that's going to be the biggest problem. Charm going through, though.
Ult's going to come through here. Dog's going to try to eat him, and they're going to move themselves through the gravity. Well, the Nanostorm will come out from Domlax, but it's just a consolation piece. It's just a little bit of a tingle as that mid lane gank comes through. Hook's going to go out, still will draw short, but the rocket will land. Dark Flare Mage keeping themselves going pretty well. Her 48 bonus AP has been acquired with their Q farming the minions, as well as any spells hitting Juggernaut and Trixie. Baby Cage catches no one. So, yeah, no, the delay on the Veigar is kind of a poor decision. Feels like a poor decision on the side of Gao Gao. I really feel like the side of Oasis needs to scale themselves up pretty quickly, as fast as they can. This game going late far more favors Team Elkay. There's a lot more control on their side between the Victor, the Ambessa, the Thresh, be able to control the landscape of these fights. And the same option really isn't there on the side of Oasis. Nami and Veigar are the only real champions that Oasis has that is going to make that kind of, make it uncomfortable to fight in. I don't really feel like Panda Boy or Billy are going to be that concerned about whatever is going to be thrown at them unless we're ending up in skirmishes or 1v1s.
Well, I was bringing it up too because Victor is also going Roa. So this Victor, I mean, he's going to lose a little bit of damage, but I don't think there's going to be that big of a damage need for the side of Elkay. But the fact that he's now able to potentially survive the amount of burst of Ahri and Nefiri have, if he's able to survive that shotgun, he's going to be able to output so much DPS. So, oh, he's going for
this would be the concern here. Ignite's gone down here. The Burn's going to actually take it. The Human Faith has shown their proficiency. They understand this matchup way better than Panda Boy does. Panda Boy's had to be on the back foot for this top lane matchup here. This Garen is not going to come online. Last week you got to see a Garen absolutely abuse matchups into Zimmy over at Think Rev Think. But this time around, this Garen is not nearly as aggressive here. Nefiri going in hard here. The Charm's not going to land here. Spirit Rush brought forward here. Justin fishing for something. They're going to try to get this blue buff, but the rockets coming in from Juggernaut are making this uncomfortable, and the rest of Team Elkay have arrived, and the public execution is going to come on through, get the knockup, but Luke's going to be able to get out. Execution, I'm sorry, Human Faith has lost all of their bonus points from earlier, and now Tricky Z pressing forward, trying to see if they can catch anything else. Aqua Prison will miss, Charm will hold off, but now we've got a fantastic counter push, a little bit too deep. Oasis went into Team Elkay's jungle, and they're going to pay for it.
Yeah, 1-for-1 overall for that bot side play, but Panda Boy able to catch Human Faith off guard towards the top side. I believe Human Faith was going for a proxy, and then Garen was able to just Demacia him out of the game, and he's actually going to be able to proxy himself a wave. But the transformation of Kayn to the Darkened form has been achieved, so a little bit of that Bruisery Kayn that we'll be seeing.
That knockup
and him
is going to
having
hit,
the
and
Crypto Sword, he's going to do a lot of damage.
I'm sorry, this is going to be how this is going to be here. Human Faith's going to chase down the Garen. No ultimate available for Panda Boy, but it doesn't matter. Human Faith does not need to use his ultimate to confirm that kill. This topside situation might be way more lopsided. Last match with the Yone versus the Ambessa was a consistent fight v fight. And now Team Oasis, they're going to get corralled here, getting pushed around here. We're only going to get one use of this baby cage here. Gao, you better use it on something that needs to be caught.
But it's hard for him to get into range to actually get that baby cage to work, right? So the poke from the Victor and the Corki is just going to continue to whittle them down and whittle them down until a public execution can just go off and one-shot whoever has received all of that poke.
And the strategy being kept alive pretty long. The wave's going to come on through. They're going to jump on in, and Bess is going to secure the dragon. And now, time to try to follow up and get some sort of team fight win here. Spirit Rush comes in, but now this Bess is going to get to run wild here. No kill has been confirmed for Team Oasis. Tricky Z is going to get the kill onto Jake. That was a horrible sequence there for Oasis. Team Elkay wiping the floor in that situation there. Everyone kind of dying here. Another proxy farm for Panda Boy. They just couldn't make a move into any direction there. The baby cage is only kind of worth it if you can actually get the land. I almost wish this Imperial Mandate was the Shirelia's Reverie on the Jake just to be able to get them that little bit of an inch advantage to catch someone, because the Victor got to stand all by himself in that brush and just poke them out and really disincentivize and put Oasis at a disadvantage in that fight.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we were talking about in the draft and why I was, reacting the way that I was. There's kind of just like this disconnect that Oasis has from the enemy team. It's just like their engage there was a Nami ult, and you can really only do so much with the amount of CC that they have that, Elkay just kind of shredded them. Juggernaut took a lot of damage, but was able to just kind of out-damage it and survive and just kill the Ahri and continue to run them all over, and Bessa was able to dive the back line and take care of the Vygar as well. And I think we're going to just be seeing that a lot more as this game continues. And even as this Garen scales up, yeah, he was losing the lane, but I think he's going to get to a point where he can kind of just do that to Kayn all the time, whenever he wants to.
Yeah, that was not what you were looking for there. It feels like Human Faith might have actually thrown any advantage that they had when they had the failed proxy farm and Garen caught him in the jungle earlier. And now Garen will become a thick boy. And it looks like, yeah, this Kayn's trying to go for a lethality build instead of for that bruisery build that just allows him to just face tank. Oh, and the baby cage is going to catch. Ult's going to try to go down, but I think he's gone too far. And if he's going to have to flail themselves out and away, use their dogs to try to protect themselves. Everyone is so low on the side of Oasis in this 3 versus 2. And Juggernaut and Tricky have no problem coming through. Gonna be able to evacuate forward. Gets the kill onto the Nami. Jake is gonna die. And now the public execution from Billy will take out Gao. And Human Faith has arrived to try to actually get some recovery. He's going to be able to put the ultimate, but I don't know if it's going to get as close as he wants to the target. Gets the knockup. He might get the kill. The kill will be stolen, and now the rotation. I'm sorry, Billy went in to try to save that, but Justin has rotated. I it's a curious decision making there for LK team members to keep extending into that fight.
Yeah, I'm quite curious. Billy had a lantern on top of him that he could have just grabbed and run away from even before Kane was able to get that ulti off, but instead he chose to fight. I think his mouth was a little bit bigger than his stomach there, hoping for that kill, but all the while, Garen was just able to farm up topside. And is able to just TP bot and deny anything from this Kane to continue to accelerate.
That's
But
awkward.
Domlax also TP'd at the same time.
That is very awkward here. That's going to be a really poor movement decision and just map play. I don't know if Oasis are going to be able to catch this or notice this, but that's going to put the Team Elkay on the back foot for at least where they want to put their players. Herald's being taken by Oasis at this time. This is very opportune for him. The Victor has made it top lane to at least contest for the wave, while Garen is all but confirmed. There it is. And now for the 1v1. Human Faith not going to chase much further. And never mind, alright, flash in here, knockup's going to confirm, and I believe it's going to be another execution. Ult's going to come through. Scythe has executed flash over, but through the wall, you cannot run away. I don't know why he bothered with that. The E was still available. And Human Faith follows him to the ends of the earth and puts him in the dirt there.
Well,
And now Human Faith, Public Execution is going to miss. Human Faith's going to be on a long wild goose chase. He's going to waste the time of 3 members of Team Elkay. They're going to try to get him, but I think he's going for the execution. He's going to be able to get the wave. Takes a turret shot. There's Dragon up in 8 seconds. This is a very awkward situation that's being manufactured here by Oasis. Human Faith is safe. They're not going to be able to go in and get him. He's going to take some hits. Herald's going to bring the mid tower low. This is a rather awkward tense situation right now.
Yeah, Pandaboy was able to, on that death, buy a full Mortal Reminder, and now that they're on that back step, because they kind of just gave up all their positioning for that chase onto Kane, and with Garen dying at a really bad time, they are going to lose the 3rd Dragon of the game. But, you know, Elkay's okay with that. They already picked up 2, so yeah, it's stalling their soul for another 5 minutes, but I think they can continue to just scale, get Ambessa to find a 2nd item, maybe find a 3rd item for this Corki, and then Victor having his 2nd item by the time that this 3rd dragon, or this 4th dragon comes up, and I think they're perfectly happy with that scenario. A lot of spikes coming through for the side of Elkay, and the grubs are going to great use with Victor and Garen continuing to side lane and pulling the attention away from Oasis each and every rotation.
Yeah, and I see Oasis actually making mistakes on their own lane assignments here. I'm not sure about Ahri into Garen precisely as a matchup, but I would still believe that Human Faith on the Kane into the Garen would be the preferable lane assignment, but I feel like that's almost being, I can't tell if it's being manufactured by Elkay or if it's being capitalized on, because now Human Faith once again is being hunted, and Team Elkay really putting some resources in to try to catch this Kane out in the corner. I don't know if it's Pandaboy saying like, hey, just take care of him. Just isolate. Execute's gonna come through. He's not gonna be able to get it. The flash is perfect by Tricky. And now Human Faith, he's not gonna be able to get anything done here. Billy's gonna get the kill, and now the Garen gets to kind of act freely. That felt like a strange little auto attack. Spirit Rush used.
I think he lives here. I think he's gonna die here, Church.
I think he's gonna die here. Charm's gonna land, and there's the kill. Justin gets the confirmation, gets the kill. This is both top lanes going down here, but now the trade is still an advantage of Team Elkay. They've had the map push top lane and mid wave, and even bot side. They're gonna be able to get their 3rd turret. They're gonna go on in with Public Execution, but exhaust onto the Ambessa keeps everyone alive. And the Fury trying to get themselves out here. Is going to go wide, but now, I'm sorry, the Juggernaut has made their entrance, has flashed in, confirmed the kill onto Jake, gets a triple kill, taking out Gao Gao. That was some really bombardier plays there from Juggernaut on the Corki. Barrier and flash used. Elkay's coming in with some fury on this, and I know Oasis handicapped themselves with this comp, but this has been a pretty good round, pretty good game from Elkay.
Yeah, I mean, using all of those spells and specifically the Summoners of Corki for that gold is nice and all, but I mean, it doesn't really grant them anything. They got that tower without having to use any of those spells. It was actually Billy that wanted to extend the play and extend the fight with that public execution, thinking that they could just burst in one shot and get away freely with murder. But instead, I mean, they got the tower and they got some gold, so it's pretty good. But now that's going to be a Corki without any summoner spells going into this next dragon fight. So my eyes are going to be on this really squishy Corki as well. But Kane is just dead. 1v4.
For top, he's gone in to try to get a little bit more time, but he will be taken out. This Corki is 7-1-4. This Corki is massive and has a very huge advantage over their partner. Victor's taken down here. Shutdown given over to Justin. That is 2 ultimates used to take out that Victor. Mid lane pressure is being applied by Oasis to get some damage onto this tier 2. Dragon's up in a minute 20. Decisions need to be made, ladies and gentlemen. And Human Phase is still not up.
From Elkay, I feel like they, on that Kane kill, as soon as Nefiri shows bot lane and uses her ultimate, we could have easily just done Baron there. 3 of the people were standing on top of Baron. You have a Corki that was nearing Infinity Edge, 3rd item, so you have enough damage to just burst the Baron. But instead, they kind of just go to collect, which isn't that bad, but I think, you'd see a lot of other higher level teams just immediately execute that Baron. 3rd item now on this Corki. Again, he doesn't have Flash, though, going into this next fight, so he is the powerhouse and the main DPS for Elkay, but he is very vulnerable. I mean, yes, he has the Valkyrie to be able to escape some damage, but if he gets hit by one thing, a charm or a Kane knockup, he's going to be completely just one-shot. So my eyes on this next fight are all on Corki. And how does he outplay this fight? In what engage tools or lack thereof of Oasis are they going to use on this Corki?
Teleport use, hook's going to land, it's going to catch the Aria, but that's kind of not much else to be done here. Naga's going to hit, and they've actually hit the right target here. Humankind inside of the Corki will take him out here, and this is falling apart really hard. The flank teleport from those blue wards you saw there at the top of your screen cement the play, chain the play in here for Oasis to get themselves back into this game, take this dragon away, bring the dragon score even. Very good decision-making, very good map and team play there from Oasis. May even be able to save this inhibitor turret just in the nick of time before Panda Boy got himself a little bit too many advantages. And now they're looking topside here. I don't know if they're trying to hunt this Garen or if they want to hunt the Baron, but they are looking around for him. Scanner's on. They might have seen that here. No, Jake's going to catch a little surprise here. Aqua Prison will catch out Panda Boy. He will be taken down. Kill goes over to Human Faith. Another advantage secured.
Yeah, remember when I asked if the Corki, if it was worth it to flash for 2 kills out of the tier 2? It seems no, because he gave away the shutdown and he gave away another dragon. And giving the team that kind of lacks damage, Infernal Dragons to stack, will allow them to deal a little bit more damage. So, but it seems that on that recall, they're just going to try to coin flip Baron. I hate this play. I think they might lose the game from this.
I believe they will as well here. Humankind's made the call. He's going to get a second kill onto this Corki here after already executing the Ambessa through the wall. He's going to try to take care of this Thresh, who needs to run. Sad B-face indeed here. Knockup's going to at least express a bit of emotion as you're about to get yourself executed. But no, the layup, Nasher will be confirmed for Oasis. This is a incredible turn of events here. I don't know about you, I was convinced that Team Elkay was going to be the one coming out on top of this game too, just on how the comps were built. But right now, Oasis are positioning themselves to take map 2 of this series.
Game's not over yet. I don't think they will end on this Baron, especially with Corki just really spawning. But definitely a comedy of errors from the side of Elkay, just mistake after mistake, and not really piecing together any sort of flow for the way that their comp really wants to play. Mostly hinging onto Corki not really able to have any bodyguards. Panda Boy not really rotating to help his team, and allowing a 4v5 to be happening on all these team fights, which to me is indicating that Elkay isn't really talking about what they want to be doing minutes in advance. You know, if Panda Boy doesn't want to fight for that dragon, then why is Juggernaut even in a position to be caught out? They're all contesting River, except for Panda Boy, who's not even in a position to TP, didn't even try to TP. Instead, Human Faith was the one that TP'd in and got the kill. So it's things like that where I'm curious about what are they saying? Are they even on the same page? Are they talking about what do they want? Things like that. And now that their scaling is becoming very difficult, because of the Baron and the 2 dragons that Oasis have been able to collect based off the LK's mistakes.
Oh, and that Corky's about to get caught up again here, chomped up by Nefiri. Nefiri almost going all the way in. Public Execution's gonna miss, but now Nefiri in trouble. It's gonna hit their Q-spell onto the Corky, but now Humankind is gonna have to actually put themselves inside of Panda Boy. Is gonna get 1 kill, gets the Corky, gets out. That is not... I don't think Billy intended to hand off his problems to Juggernaut, but that's what happened. And now, all that Justin has to really do here is just wave clear. Silence going to hit here. Does not have any ability to get away from this here. Ari will go down. That's what's needed to be done here by Panda Boy to try to at least salvage this situation. The backs are going to come in from Gao and Jake, the Dark Player Mage Vagar. So this is a neutral map state here. The advantages are still now returning a bit back over to Elkay with the play, with the neutralization of that push in the mid lane and that little bit of a surprise fight. Ooh, it's going to be a catch here. Knockup's not going to land. And next Drake up in 43 seconds.
The timing of this Drake is going to be really awkward for Elkay with the way that Panda Boy has extended his lead, but if he's able to get this catch on Kane, it could be huge.
This is actually very important right now here. Kane's going to go on in, get inside of Garen, but it's not going to let you get much confirmed. It's going to flash away here. The knockup. Tyler's going to come through, but that's a fantastic chain. The hook almost gets it, but the Garen will go down. Human Faith will survive. Teleport in. This is going to be a full fight here before the dragon even starts, but this is everyone. This is everyone in hand here. The hook's going to land, but that's not what you want here. Tricky's going to go down here. Dark Mage's going to get the kill. The Spirit Rush focus in. He eats so much, but another kill. Triple kill for Gao. This Vagar is going off here. Goes golden. Good way to dodge the pounce from the dogs, but Victor will go down as well, and that may be it. They're going to walk this wave all the way up to this tier 2 tower. I don't believe they're going to be able to end on this. Timers aren't that long. 8 seconds till Garen gets up. 6 seconds till the Thresh gets up. Nefir is going to go ahead and take care of getting their 3rd Drake. A 3rd Infernal stacked on side of this low damage team. But they are fighting way better with how at least that sequence went down there in the bot lane.
They're trying to flank. I don't think they can catch him. Yeah, as much as we're talking about... Oh, maybe?
Fury's going to be able to actually flare themselves, get away from the hook here, but this Garen might be caught out again. He's blown up here. Dark Fur Mage, they have acquired all the damage that they need, but they're not going to get blown up as well here. The execution is going to help lock that and knock that, but this counterpunch coming in from Elkay is going to actually send Oasis entirely onto the back foot. There's not really anything to be gained though. The Baron's not up for another minute, and that's more than enough time for Oasis to reset.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we were talking, I was harping on the fact that Oasis has no damage. They've kind of gotten to a point where they're able to hit Elkay with their wallets. I mean, Kane is at 4 items, and Rabadon's has been finished for the Vigar. Rabadon's finished just barely for Ari as well. So they kind of are at a point where their comp does deal damage. And the most important thing is that the low-range Corki went for this weird full glass cannon crit build, which normally you would see kind of the more bruisery Trinity Force build with like Shojin and things like that. And I think if he went that build, he wouldn't have 5 deaths, especially because he went Mercury Treads as well, and I understand why. There's a lot of CC on Oasis, but honestly, the only threat that he's really under, if he's playing these fights properly, is Kayn. Kayn you can't really outplay as Corki, whereas like Vigar and R, you are able to weave in and out of their spells. Also, in the meantime of me talking about the items and wallets, Kayn actually bought a full item, so he's full build now on that Kayn. Meanwhile, Garen is just going to continue to split and threaten bot inhib.
Yeah, mid lane's going to be threatened as well. I still feel like they should just take this Baron. I think they're going to. Some backs are coming through. Justin's going to make their way back to try to at least prevent any more damage onto the base itself. Human Faith has done the same here. This bot lane inhib tower getting dangerously close to falling. And I believe Billy might have overstepped themselves. That is bad pathing here. The Kane's going to go on in. Another ultimate. That's a little bit of an overinvestment. And Justin with the Spirit Flourish. They're going to try to go through and catch more, but Garen might be the only prize that they get. He's going to try to jump on to the Neferi, but that's not exactly how that's not going to go how you want it to. He's going to get his Q up to at least remove the slows, but more slows are going to come. Dark Flare Mage with another kill. This Veigar has shown themselves up. Gao Gao with a fantastic counter performance with their Mage Pool with this Veigar. 6-4 and 3, doing respectable backline damage here. Baby Cage really always was one of the most powerful spells in the game since the early days. And now with the scaling, 312 bonus AP on top of the rest of their build, that Rabadon's Death Cap adding excess AP to this Veigar. And there's not really a lot of MR on the side of Elkay. I'm looking and I think I only see like the Merc Treads on the side of Juggernaut. But the siege has begun. That was a flash from Domlax. I don't think that was for anything. That is not a good sign of things to come, and that is going to be a dead Corki here. Doesn't even get to the fountain to try to suicide the Kayn into the laser. The counterpunch though is coming through. The execution's going to hit, and I'm sorry here, but Dark Flare Mage and the rest are about to go down here. The Fury is going to try to recover here. Human Faith doing the best that he can, but he has nothing else to give. The Panda Boy will Panda slap Oasis in the face, and there's just one dog left, and it's time to leave here. Team Elkay pull off a heroic defense of their base, and they extend their stay in this match a little bit longer.
It's going to be really difficult because Oasis now has Soul spawning in about 35 seconds, and Elkay has to trudge through the 2 inhibitors down. And all of those heavy waves that are pushing into their base, they have to push these waves out and get river control, clear the wards that are in their bot side jungle, and place the wards of their own. But with the time so awkward, I think Justin is able to TP into some of these wards and into the bot wave to just take space if they decide to, and Neferi is already off of map, so they're going to have to peek into some of these awkward bushes and terrifying jungle of their own. They're already starting to take a little bit of mid space, but they haven't started to investigate towards the jungle. Meanwhile, Panda Boy still is pushing top, forcing Human Faith to collect that wave. He does have TP though. Both top laners do have their top lane quest TP. But with Doomlax so far behind on this tempo play, I think Elkay might just have to give up this Infernal Soul, and then they might just lose here.
They very well may. There's teleports available, but the rest of Team Elkay doesn't seem very coordinated about how they actually want to do this. They're sitting on the edge of their own jungle, a little too scared to come on in, and I can understand why. Humankind's sitting there ready to end their dreams of having a chance at winning this second game. Justin's going to get themselves into a little bit of trouble. It's going to get silenced here. It's going to get executed. Panda Boy trying to buy a little bit of edging, a little bit of timing here. The Infernal Soul has been taken and confirmed by Oasis. I don't think there's a way out of this for Elkay. The kill captured by Panda Boy just now, it's nice, it's great, doesn't remove the buff though. And now we're just waiting for another 2 minutes, and then Oasis is going to go take the Baron, and that will be the time when they push everything into Elkay's base, and it's going to probably be all over there. Knockup's going to hit here. I think Humankind's going to be greeting out a little bit. He will get the execution, takes out the Victor, gets the second knockup, hits the Corki, but he's going to burn through Thresh like he's not even there. Gets himself into the wall and makes his escape. Okay.
Well, I think he just won the game off that play, because now they can just trudge down mid, and unless he gets caught, he can kind of just heal up, and with it being a 2v3 and that Infernal Soul and the TP coming in from Arya, they're just going to trudge down those minions into the walls of the enemy Nexus, and might just be wraps for Elkay.
Yeah, and if they're trying to play a little bit of shield, make sure that there's not any opportunities for this Mbessa to get too far in and disrupt the situation. The Manu Wave will be convoyed, will be pushed in to the turrets. One last hurrah here. Public Execution is going to hit, but it's not going to kill anybody, and that Corki is disappeared. That is game 2 into Oasis' hands. Jake leading the charge on this Nami. We have ourselves a 2-0 record so far in this series. Team Elkay, their entire sponsorship may be with a fountain, but I am still thirsty to see them actually hold a candle to Oasis and how this team has been able to pull out very interesting picks, and for Humankind to kind of be still getting the better here of Panda Boy when the game really plays itself out fully.
I mean, just a masterclass of Kane top lane, I guess. I mean, the Kane just completely took over the game, and it didn't also feel like LK were really understanding of the way that they wanted to play with Panda Boy. Panda Boy was permanently on the side lane, never really joined a team fight at all. And I don't think LK really know how to play with the side lane. And 4-1, to be honest, is a little bit difficult to play around. It requires a lot of communication, a lot of back and forth on, okay, what is your state like? What do you want to do with this state? What's our state like? And how can we use each other's state and help each other out? And you can see from the mood swing that is this gold graph at the bottom, Elkay had a really great sizable lead going into mid game, but it was just one big mistake around these dragon fights and lack of dragon fights that just led Kane to completely take over the game, and just kill people. Like literally just walk at them and one-shot the Corki over and over. Every single W from this short-range Kane was able to land onto the Corki, and then just easy follow-up, Q, auto, R, and you're dead. So from there, they just didn't really have a means to stop the Kane. No good CC. The best that they had was a Thresh Hook. And unless that landed, then that Kane was able to just run free and take over the whole game.
Yeah, there's only really 3 CCs on the side of Elkay that was ever going to actually stop this Kane between the Mbessa's ultimate, the Thresh Hook, and Flail. Everything else on the side of Team Elkay. The only other CC that would have actually affected anything for Kane, since Kane is such a spell-weaving bruiser, brawler, assassin, would have been the silence from Garen's Q. But that was never really capitalized on, and this team just was sorely underprepared for the amount of mobility that comes out of Kane between his dash, between going through the walls, between the ultimate, just enabling him to get into the back line. Even if you're trying to take him away from his allies, he don't need and did not need help in this match. I will comment and appreciate that this gold graph will likely be how your upcoming therapy session will be. It will be a small talk into the absolute rage of some of these team comps, but into a much more peaceful with the blue there at the end of this gold graph for you in your upcoming session, my dear Tivon. We are going to take ourselves into a break as we get ready for the third and final map match between Oasis and Team Elkay. We will see if Elkay with their Captain Kel can find themselves a second win in their entire league season, while Oasis on the up and up with a good solid 2 first maps here tonight. We'll see y'all soon. Alrighty, here we're having a bit of a rotation of bodies here. We're actually having the lowest point value so far in this series here. Team Oasis has kept the human faith, I would too. Kept Luke in their jungle. Tongi is back in on the mid lane, and Gao Gao and Jake are still in the bot lane. Few changes there. Over on the side of Team Elkay, they brought in T-Sig, Tommy Cigarette in the top lane. This is gonna might hurt a little bit. Domflax has come from mid lane to jungle. Kel, the captain, has made their way in for the mid lane. Scorp has come in for the bot lane AD carry, and Tricky Z is still here for the support. This feels like a little bit of a mild sandbagging on either side for just the very extensive rules and such for points and how to keep yourself healthy and aligning with the rule book here at the Final Boss Draft League. But do we have any initial opening takes here, Tivon, for the rotation of bodies?
My only worry for both of these teams is just going to be the gap that is in the top lane, a tier 1 versus a tier 3. I mean, the Human Faith was kind of their only reason Oasis was able to win last game with his proficiency on the Kayn, but having two tier 1s in the bot lane could be a good counterweight to what is happening in the top side. So we could see the difference between a really fed bot lane, a really proficient bot lane versus a very fed top lane, in which team is able to pursue that sort of lead harder and more proficiently. Which could be a fun little storyline to follow, but you never really know with this kind of league. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm still afraid of the human faith, and I'm sure Elkay is also afraid of what he has been doing in the top lane. So that's where my worries are at currently.
That makes sense entirely. Scorp and Tricky would need to really capitalize on their advantage and their skill set over Gao Gao and Jake, who Gao Gao Dark Flare Mage is not even a regular bot lane AD carry kind of player. That's been made clear, and that's been very obvious considering game one was a Swain, game two was a Veigar, and that Veigar did not really turn into much until the overwhelming power from the human faith and the scaling had taken advantage or had taken over the situation. Malzahar, Aurora, and Blitzcrank banned on the side of Oasis, and then Tryndamere, Action, and Camille banned on the side of Team Elkay. Jarvan, Elkay's first pick. Usually Jarvan was banned out in other matches, in other games that we've seen. Has not been allowed through too often, but has been secured for Dom Flax here. Dom Lax.
Jarvan's so awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm a big fan of that one too. Orianna's a pretty good answer into Ari. And Jarvan is just a really solid jungler to have. Especially into Dark Flare Mage's pool of only so far what he showed is only immobile mages. Jarvan eats up immobile carries for breakfast. So that's a really good counter pick and a really good pivot they're able to show. I'm curious if Dark Flare Mage has a mobile mage or a mobile carry to play in order to counter what is Jarvan. But so far, I they're kind of just taking the L with the Seraphine kind of comp.
Yeah, Seraphine Immobile, that's gonna be an easy pickup and pop for Jarvan there. Gonna ruin the concert crashing into the stage. But this is kind of also this is bodes well for Team Elkay. The Zaheen picked up on the side of Oasis. I believe I've seen a bit of Zaheen like maybe in the jungle, but I still feel like that's going to be a human faith pick in the top side.
Yeah, it can be flexed. Speaking of flex, though, Yasuo is also technically a flex, but if I remember correctly, the Scorp guy loves playing Z80 carry. So, or excuse me, Yasuo AD carry. So I was reading his tag of Zed. The Yasuo AD carry, which is pretty proficient, and I think in these leagues, I mean, you already have two very solid knockups to combo with the Yasuo So I think it could be played really well, especially into mages. I think there are a lot of mages that Yasuo can eat up the same way that he does in the mid lane. But with the longer lane that is bot lane, it's a little bit more dominant for the side of Yasuo. So far, Elkay has a really solid three core. But Oasis also could really round out this comp in a way that makes them very powerful and very strong that Elkay is unable to really cut through.
Indeed, I like the idea of the Yasuo coming in for the wind wall into the Seraphine ability is able to negate most of Seraphine's kit with that wind wall, not to mention the same for most of Ari's kit. So this Yasuo reserves a very clear potency to negate a lot of what Oasis can throw at them. Going to the second round of bans here, the Cane taken away from the humankind, the human faith. I appreciate it. Maybe wasted if that Zaheen has already been prescribed to go topside. Veigar, Nautilus, and Rel taken away from Gaogao and Jake. Strangely, actually, correction. So Gaga will not be getting their Veigar in this next match. Might be going back to the Swain, which would really limit and shorten this comp and put a lot of magic damage on Oasis's side. But Jake is chosen to deny any of those hook option engages between the Nautilus, the Blitzcrank, and the Rel. We may be seeing Thresh another time here from Trixie. No, he is going to take the Nami. So we're going to have two Enchanter support mages on both sides to set up these teams and these team comps. I can't say that I'd usually think of Nami to typically be a good pairing with a Yasuo.
Um, it's good. It's fine. I mean, Nami offers some knockups for Yasuo to be able to play off of, but also, I think honestly, Nami is a really evergreen enchanter to be able to pick. We just picked Bra.
Yeah,
So sorry. That just made my brain hurt. We're picking Braum with Seraphine 80 carry, which means that who's gonna auto attack on a Braum passive. Also, we picked it into Nami, and Nami loves Braum hates range supports. I mean, yeah, he kind of messes up Yasuo, but oh, I don't even remember what I was talking about. That's how that Braum pick really
No,
threw me
you are
off.
okay here. That T-boned me as well here. My brain stopped functioning as well. I was about to start messaging production to verify this was not an error on the drafter side of things. The Garen's picked up, but I don't even care about that. That's not special anymore. We saw that last game. It did not do well. But a Braum Seraphine Ballane sounds like an absolute just sludge experience to put yourself through here. The synergy between the two, you might knock up or stun a bunch, but the damage I just don't really expect it for a while. Gaga's not gonna get a lot of damage out of the Seraphine until they're probably 2 to 3 items in, and I really hesitate on just the Braum as an idea to counter the comp that Team LK has brought together. There's been a Scion secured for the top side, so this Yasuo is confirmed to be in Scorp's hand in the bot side. But once again, Oasis coming in with a very suspicious, very curious, and comp that is really baffling the both of us. I don't know how this is going to roll because now it looks like Human Faith has decided to pick up the Garen to really show Team LK how it's done. I don't know. This is going to be a mystery to solve here. I
I
I
just
believe we can wrap it up actually and get ourselves going into the loading screen here. Final thoughts here, Tivon.
I just really wish that Braum was a Leona. I just think that should be a Leona. I think Leona does the exact same thing that Braum would do, but better. It's a little bit more synergistic. I think a Rakan could have been better. There's a lot of other options that Braum could have been replaced by that really rounds out the comp of Oasis. But we saw Oasis win with one of the most let me be a little bit nice, with one of the most strange hodgepodge of champions in the last game. And I think that this comp has a little bit more synergy going with it than we've previously seen them have. So I think that is something that they can be successful with. However, this go round, Elkay has a really just like ooga booga go in and kill comp, which is very easy. It's just full death ball. Jarvan Sion ulting in with Orianna Ball and Yasuo following up with Nami heals and everything on top of that. So I think Elkay has an easier job playing team fights. But the question that we will see after the loading screen is, can Elkay actually get themselves to those team fights and properly manage their tempo to be able to get a team fight? Because that's what we were lacking last game. So that's going to be the test for Elkay this go around.
Yeah, okay, with a lot better for sort of engage options with the Jarvan, with any knock-up allowing Yasuo to get in there, or Sion just running straight in with his charge. If you hear a giant gong or you hear the screams and yells of Demacia, there's probably a fight beginning. And Domlax and Tommy Cigarette, T-Sig, we're going to be looking at them to at least be able to control this top side, not let the Human Faith take over with the Garen. I expect something of what we saw last week, where the Garen is going to be out proxy farming. I would almost hope for the Human Faith to understand that that may be an option, but it is not going to be the most effective strategy into a Scion who can clear the waves pretty easily with their spell rotation, as opposed to like a Mundo. So this game looking to be very strange, to say the least. Scorpion Tricky with the advantage if they can find themselves getting good trades and really taking the fight to Gaga and Jake. I don't imagine you would know how this lane matchup combo would go, but I believe the damage would favor Scorpion Tricky on Team Elkay's side for the first, for the first while. I really expect it to kind of go that way, even though it's so strange. It's such a strange bot lane matchup to comment on. And I
Yeah,
believe
we'll just have to figure it out, Church. We'll just have to see what the gameplay shows us.
Indeed here. So with that, we're going to be finishing out, getting into game 3 of tonight's match against Oasis and the Elkay LZS8L's. That'll get your model number locked in if you want to get yourself a water fountain in your backyard. With that, we're going to go to a little short break, but we will see you soon on the Rift. Welcome to final game of the night, final match of the night here between Team Oasis and Team Elkay. Both teams walked in tonight 1-5 in their match scores from how their week ones went. And at this point, Oasis has already taken 2 wins over Team Elkay, and this could be a 3-0 if Human Faith can take the Garen and really carry it, because the rest of the comp, particularly the spots on the side of Oasis, is very suspicious. Team Elkay, though, they have set themselves up for quite a much more standard situation with the Yasuo in Scorpsan, a favorite pick of his, we hear. Tivon, we're about to wrap up the night, but I think we're still in line for a bunch of fireworks here between these teams.
Yeah, this is my Oracle's lens of how this game is going to go. I think Scorp is going to get a really sizable lead in the bot lane, and I think we're going to watch the back line of Oasis get blown up over and over in fights. But I think we're going to see both Luke and Human Faith survive those trades, and then kill everyone. And I think it's going to be like all of the team fights are really close based off of those two events happening. That like no objectives are actually taken because everyone has to like recall and like walk away from it, like licking their wounds, until finally there's a breaking point where someone makes a mistake. That's my crystal ball analysis.
No, that's a good set you got there. Level 2 acquired from the Yasuo and the Nami early on, so they have the push and they will maintain control over into the bot lane here. Human Faith also getting their advantage, hitting level 3 ahead of the Scion, so a little bit of a trade back and forth, what we saw earlier in the previous game, where top side is in the favor of one team while the bot side is where the balance is acquired by the other. I'm going to give a look here at the junglers. Both are clearing from top to bottom. Doesn't look like any camps were missed. They might be meeting either at this first spawn of the crab in the river. Don't believe there's many opportunities to actually secure a gank here on the bot side and get any kills. All 4 players are super healthy and there's not a lot of reliable CC. So I believe Domlax and Luke, they're just going to full clear and back.
Yeah, I mean, with this slow push developing bot lane going into the Yasuo, after this crab, they could look for a gank, but Luke is there to cover. There could be a potential 3v3 here if Zehen really goes for this.
Yeah, Jarvan went for the crap here, so now Oasis is going to go for the champions, but that wind wall is going to do it. The double Aqua Prism is going to be fantastic here. I think Tricky Z is going to go down here. Heal's used, but he was already aflame. The damage is going to be minimal. It's not really sticking here. Zaheen, he's maxed out his auto attacks. He will revive for this here. Scorp still trying to put out here another double Aqua Prison setup, and Zaheen will be taken, he'll be given lethal damage, but will survive. That's a 1-for-1 trade here. Tungi actually died in mid lane here to the hands of Kel. That is not the sequence that Team Elkay was looking for on the bot side. Domlax was able to get in to try to help with that fight, but Oasis, identifying that they were not going to be able to get that river crab and decided to just go in for the fight. The wave was pushed into their side, so there was going to be a long fight, and I believe we're having a very interesting exchange here. The shield comes up just in time to block the auto attack. Human Fate's going to run away, baits in Thesig to that fight to the death.
Oh, the knockup not quite landing in time to cancel the Jarvan EQ, but able to get around and secure one crab for Zehen, which means that no advantages really for either jungler, but Jarvan able to... Oh, skipping Krugs and just going straight Raptors is definitely a decision, which might lead him to get to bot side earlier, but will make it where if he gets second crab or second spawn crab, he will not get 6 in time for Dragon, so... Or he... Oh, he is going. He just wanted to take Raptors first. Okay, a little inefficient, but that's all good. No worries.
Yeah, maybe looking for a little bit of seeing if Human Fate's going to overextend their time slot for this little bit of shift on the top side. This will give T-Sig a bit of time to push a wave in and get a little bit of breathing room here first. Dragon up is going to be a Chem Drake. So at least we won't have to deal with that as a Dragon Soul. Good damage here, and the counter damage is going to be traded out here. Kel ready to stand their ground here. I don't think they're ready for it. Flash is going to be sent here. Jarvan's going to miss their EQ combo, but the flash in from T-Sig will get the slam, will get the axe hit, will confirm the kill. Oh, fun little comedy of errors there, T-Von.
The Avengers assembled, but like... It's like this the Avengers theme, but on the kazoo, where it's just they're all missing everything, man. I would have died if Ari didn't end up dying there, but fortunately for Elkay and all the Elkay fans out there, Ari did die. Now 0-2 on the Ari. So in a really good timer from Tommy Cigarette to be able to roam down there with his ult. The thing about getting proxied on is you also have small little timers to be able to move and develop some map presence, as well as the person doing the proxy. So I really like that movement. It might lose in the Dragon, but it seems it's actually going to be a 4v4 down here.
Yeah, 4v4 in hand. Teleport's not available for the top laners, so we're going to be running on through. That's going to be a big pull back from the Zaheen here. Jarvan's going to go down without much to be done. And now, Team Elkay, they need to get out of here. Good block with the W on the side of Human Faith to handle the damage from that knockup. Team Elkay still posturing like they want to actually go for this here. Charm, it's going to hit onto Kel. He's not going to really do much about that. That was a very awkward little use of the blast cone to try to get him into a dangerous zone. And first Drake confirmed, captured by Team Oasis.
Yeah, I mean, just Elkay can't contest that at that point. You don't have 6 yet on Jarvan, or else that fight is good. You don't have ult on Scorp or Tricky Z. You know, like, Elkay kind of needs their ult to be able to function as a comp. They're a very ult-based, you know, meatball team. That's what we talked about in draft. But without them having any of them unlocked, and also they used a lot of their spells and a lot of their timer on that mid kill, that they tried to do that contest a little too fast. If they waited a little bit longer, maybe it's playable.
Is going to be using there, and that's going to force the phase rush out of Tungui.
That's annoying.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good knock up there. Yasuo brought low. The damage is pretty good out of this Seraphine, and the damage from that Garen is even bigger here. No one's ever prepared for that execution from Garen. Gonna try to get some of the last bits of CS, does not get the cannon minion. And teleports may not be up in time here for Tommy Cigarettes, so that wave is going to get fully crashed in. Human Fate's going to be able to get himself a couple of swipes hits and maybe another plate off of this tier 1, and he's going to farm that wave too. This is going according to what you'd expect here, just considering the top side matchup. 2-level lead for the Garen now.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting this bot lead to be as substantial as it is. Seraphine being 2-0 from that previous dragon fight, and also just the early 3v3 at level 4. And that freeze makes things really awkward for Elkay once they get back to lane. They miss a whole wave, and now they have to use a lot of resources to crash this wave under tower and get the bounce back happening. But this could give a timer onto Ahri with no ult.
Ult in hand here, but you're going to be put into the cage here. The Jarvan cage is going to be autoed down. Domlax getting himself on the board. That's a good little bit of timer there from Kel to make the call for that play. That is not a good piece. Their flag is put over. He's going to have to find his way out. Looking for a collapse. The bot lane is coming, but the root is going to pretty much prevent any more help to arrive. Kel will come on over to help usher Domlax out of that jungle. But Luke maintains propriety of his red buff area.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that Domlax was able to get out there. Well...
Ooh, and now we're caught into the middle of it. I'm sorry, Luke. You probably overextended. You're welcome here. Does not have enough auto attacks and will get confirmed. Will get killed here. Scorp with one, hits the other here. Braum is down, and now he's going to keep going. He's going all in onto the Seraphine. Knock up. Exhaust under the Seraphine. It's going to flash over the wall to follow them up while the Ahri has been dashing away, trying to escape from this Orianna. But Orianna has enough movement speed and enough tenacity to say, I will chase this fox to the end of the river, into the bot lane. That is a fantastic team fight win for the side of Team Elkay. Watch yourself, T-Sig. Watch yourself. That ultimate's up and available. You've used your shield. Okay. We'll settle the air right now. There's no dragon. Yeah, I don't know why that fight actually started. There's no dragon up yet. But I guess
Scuttle Crab shirt. Junglers will call everyone for the random Scuttle Crab that doesn't matter. That's the classic. Oof. Oh my god.
That is a flash in from the driver. He's going to ult. Bring it down. The Braum is randomly up here for the roam timer to match that. Zaheen up here as well. Can't tell if Tommy Six trying to bait in a bit of attention. And now Jarvan is going to have to get out. Zaheen pressing his luck. Teleport back in. I don't know if they're looking for it. Slow's going to hit. Knockup's going to strike. Do they have the damage to take out the Scare? And I don't even know if they got the damage to take out the help. The Braum has arrived. Knockup back through. One more auto attack. Tommy Cigarette will confirm the kill, but Zaheen has arrived too. This fight will take out Domlax. And now T6, he's got to run back to his lane. I don't think they can kill him. He's way too thick, but Luke's going to at least get get his passive built up. So that's a nice little bit of value for a while.
He's going to be able to take over there from Elkay. I mean, you can't really play around topside ever. You're always going to get out damaged. Sion and Jarvan are not really known for their damage. They're both setups for Orianna and Yasuo. And yeah, I mean, Jarvan can do a little bit of damage, but you know, not a main damage source whatsoever. You need to be playing around Yasuo or Orianna. You can make plays topside to try to recover Sion, but you can't go further than that. Once you have him live, and maybe get one kill, that's the victory, and you have to take it at that. If you're trying to go all in, it's only around Orianna, it's only around Yasuo, because even if Sion gets more gold, it doesn't really change the way that the game plays. Instead, getting this Orianna and this Yasuo to get further accelerated like we're seeing right now, that's the pathway to killing the enemy Nexus. And so far, I feel like that gold lead, both in mid and bot, will be able to outweigh the lead that Garen is slowly developing in the top side.
Yeah, I feel like the decision making here from Tommy Cigarette as well from Domlax in this recent sequence to give way too much attention over to the Scion. Scion is really supposed to just clear waves. The QW combo at a minimum should be able to clear out most of the waves that come into him, and it's part of why I wasn't really concerned about the Garen selection. It was going to be much more, in my opinion, about what Human Faith did with the auto clear that he gets from the Garen kit, and seeing if you could take that advantage and take that spare time to other parts of the map to help out the Zaheen invade or the Ahri, get like a 3-man gank onto the Orianna. But the use that I just saw from Tommy Cigarette as the tier 1 was falling is like, no, you got to clear the wave, and you've got to just make sure you're getting your CS so you're a viable tank. Excess gold in tank hands doesn't really win you games. It buys you space. But if there's no damage to, take advantage of that space that the tank is giving you, then we're just going to fall over and die slower rather than quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it is good to have a Scion be able to tank Zaheen and Garen while Yasuo and Jarvan are diving in the backline, but yeah, you need to make sure that Yasuo Orianna is bursting this backline, and you need to make sure that you have enough damage to be able to cut through this Garen and Zaheen if they do decide to fully group up. But you never know with these Garen players. Apparently last game we didn't see Garen in a single team fight at all, and maybe Human Faith wants to do the same. Instead, it's Luke being looked on.
And that's going to be a knockup, and it's going to send the Yasuo in, but he's not really getting the access that he wants here. The Zaheen ult's going to provide a little bit of damage and spacing. Bubble Prison will not capture anyone, and this Yasuo is going very low. He will be slain. Tungy getting in and getting the reset onto the Spirit Flush. He's going to flash over to get the kill onto the jungler. The rest of Elkay need to run for the hills. Charm will luckily miss Tricky Z, and that should be the end of that fight, unless the Human Faith is getting very ambitious here.
He does still have ult to use, so they could do this.
Yeah, the pings were put out. If they can clear this wave, they might be able to get themselves a chance, but the stuns are going to stack on top of Kel. Ult's going to come through. That kill's going to be confirmed. No trade. Good little dive there from Team Oasis to really double down on the advantage from that fight. It's going to further delay what Team Elkay can do across the whole map, as Yasuo, he's going to come down. He's going to try to do something here, but knockup's going to confirm from the Aqua Prison. Looks like the damage is going to hit, but the knockup's not going to actually roll. The other Q's not going to really be there. He's going to be able to win this fight here. And now Human Faith, unconcerned with what else can be done to him. That is a poor, unfortunate missing of 2 abilities, 2 Qs from Scorp, and that's going to cost him his life. This Garen is now 5-1-1, 2.1k over his lane opponent, and is probably the reason that Team Oasis even have a gold lead right now.
Yeah, if there's a moment in this game that is a breaking point early on, I think that is that moment. That is the moment where the lead that Elkay is just completely evaporated, and if they lose this here as well, it's just over.
It's just over. I think it is over. They may not even have anyone die to lose this. Yasuo's already half health. Jarvan's come on in, but the Yasuo weapons have already been used. Seraphine just flying fantastic support. Yasuo trying to find his way in. The Zaheen goes off to the side and dies. Throm caught out. Did not respect. Yeah, that is not where you wanted to go, Jake. Lo siento, tú tienes un problema. That is bad news for the side of Oasis. Bit of misplay. Garen getting a little bit of antsy, trying to puff up his chest, but does protect the tower. Hextech Drake up in 30 seconds.
Yeah, they didn't actually use all that much on the side of Elkay, whereas Oasis did. I mean, 4 flashes on the side of Oasis, all 5 down before used in that last trade. No Seraphine ult or Braum ult to use as well, whereas the Orianna ult and the Yasuo ult will be available for this fight. They don't have the Cataclysm of Jarvan, which could be a problem, but the biggest problem is Kel potentially just getting wrapped upon here on the bot side.
Yeah, wanted to get a little bit of a trade there onto his lane opponent, but he's going to be shredded by Human Faith under his own tower. So maximum disrespect applied. T-Sig trying to get on over here for this dragon, but it looks like Elkay is just going to have to try to settle with some topside jungle camps or something.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just have to. That was just absolute disrespect from Kel. The dragon is up. There's nothing topside. There's nowhere else for them to be except for bot lane. You're the only person on map to be able to be attacked. Seraphine doesn't even need help either in the mid. So just a very strange play from Kel there to throw what was potentially another swing back into their favor. Getting that dragon is very good, and getting a good fight there in what was a very winning position just in the way that it looked from the scoreboard. Now just kind of tossed in the trash.
Yeah, no. Kind of tossed, kind of thrown away here. It's going to take some scaling up on the side of Team Elkay for this Yasuo to get into a nuclear state of things, because the damage is really just the Yasuo and the Orianna, and Kel has done very well for themselves. Item and a half deep right now, 4-2-7, has the CS lead, a 1.2k lead over his lane opponent, but we're going to need a lot more out of Team Elkay if they're actually going to have a chance here. Gold brought up for totals across the entire set of teams. Tommy Cigarette tried to go in for this. I'm not sure about it. Does not get the... Oh! Might have it. It's right there, but I think it's going to have the range advantage. Bring up that gold graph again here. Sorry. There is a... Oh, I might have spoken too soon here. Human Faith. Top of the gold graph, and we're baited. Sorry. Sorry, production. This is a very fun little back and forth that they are giving us. Oh, and Tommy Cigarette's low. Alrighty, there we go here. So Human Faith topping out the gold chart here. 2k over the next person in line. Scorp has done well for themselves with the gold intake, but they are not as much an advantage over their lane opponent. Gao Gao on the Seraphine still holding well with their gold intake. Tommy Sig doing well for themselves in this matchup where you'd expect a lot more abuse, but the Scion Kit really bolstering him. Luke, Tungy, and Jake really bottom of the gold graph for their team. Kind of lets you know that Oasis is once again feeling like they're going to be very reliant on the Human Faith to leverage their advantage and leverage the skill difference to really enable the rest of the team to have a chance to win this. And this turret's going down here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really difficult for Elkay to kind of swing their comp back into things, because yes, they have a very easy death ball 5v5 comp, but what happens when the enemy team isn't giving you 5v5? So it happens to have a really strong split pusher, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. Human Faith is kind of just running over this game. Like, yeah, Jarvan's here to maybe fight Garen, but I mean, we didn't even need Ahri TP to bolster this, but that might be able to get them a free kill bot side and get some more map presence going on. But it seems that the eyes are actually going towards
Oh, there's going to be the execution coming in here. Once the shield went away, it was all going to be over from there. And now Team Elkay have to pull the trigger to try to get something done here, but the flash out from Luke will keep him alive here. He's trying to actually get himself a little bit of space here. The ultimate from the Seraphine to provide cover, but that feels a little bit too much. Ahri on the other side here, providing a bit of pressure on both ends here for Team Elkay to deal with here, but the dash away is going to get the space needed. Garen jumps on in, flashes out. The catch is going to be onto the Ahri, but that might be all that the Yasuo gets to do. He's going to try to get himself some space, but Z's going to come in, get the knockup. That's going to provide just enough. Double kill for the Yasuo. Scorp getting something done here, but I just don't feel like it's going to be enough to provide staying power for Team Elkay. I'm going to pull out some nerd here right now, but I'm sorry. If you have a Shard Blade, it's only good for taking space, not good for holding it. And that is what Scorp is only able to provide for Team Elkay. Unless he can provide and push in, get the space that Tommy Cigarette or others can hold, or they can really kill. They have to kill more than just two. They have to kill this Garen. This Garen is way too big for just the remainder of Team Elkay to handle. If it's just the Orianna providing damage to try to take down the Scion, that's not going to be enough. To take out the Garen, it's not going to be enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the issue that I talked about in draft as well. Is you're gonna dive the back line, you're able to get the 2 squishies, but do you have the damage to get these bruisery front lines? And again, with Garen being so far accelerated, you really need a perfect storm for these fights to be able to play out in order to kill the Garen. But with the way that Elkay is set up in all these plays, it doesn't really feel like they're ever putting themselves in a proper scenario where everything goes right. And the way that you set that up is just by always putting the power where your wards are and your setup is. They're doing it really well now. They're bolstering up well. But with Garen TP active, could be a good timing, but not when you get shot.
Oh, the jungler's about to get caught out here. Domlike's taken out here by Dark Slayer Mage Gao Gao, doing some value. A very good ultimate from Kel, but it's catches 3, but there's not much else really to be done here. The teleport in from the Garen, a little unnecessary, but it will secure and lock in this Drake here. 3rd Drake over. We're going to have a Hextech Soul in this match. Prison's going to land here, but I don't think Scorp is going to survive. This Garen is basically a little nuke. If you get yourselves too low, you will die.
I think we're getting to a point where Elkay is really just grasping at straws. I mean, Jarvan just going a little too far forward in that Dragon Pit. They don't need any more control further than just having the ramp. Where Orianna was... Tommy Cigarette, what are we doing, big dog?
Tommy Sig, way too deep, way too far. I'm not sure what the plan was, but you will be taken down. You have been smoked. You have been smoked. And you will go into the ashtray. Trying to get a little bit of follow-up here. Trying to catch onto this Zaheen, who's gotten himself pretty low here. Jarvan, I don't think you've got the damage for it. And the Zaheen passive procced, flag, but I don't think he's going to get the drag. That's 2-0, and Tricky Z, you're also dumb. Baron? Question mark?
They could. It's going to be real slow. And Orianna could get a very good ult, but I don't think it really matters with how accelerated the Zed and Garen are, and how tanky they are. I think they could get a 5-man command shockwave and a 5-man last breath, and I don't think it would do anything. They are doing a good job of potentially trading mid, but they know that they don't need Garen for that play, for the Baron, so let's just kill Yasuo. Why not?
Yeah, and Garen doesn't need them apparently. Scorp putting to a very painful place right now. 5-5 and 3 in this Yasuo. This was supposed to be the pocket pick and the really hard carry. It just would appear that there's just no countering a Garen in this day and age. I almost want to be able to see a certain type of stat. Oh, they're trying to get him. They are trying to get him, but there's just not enough CC to capture it. T-Sig with an emotional play. They're flashing forward to try to get the knockup, but the damage just isn't there. Fantastic Aqua Prison from Tricky Z as Tungy teleports in to try to capitalize on the mispositioning. But I believe we're going to see a Baron used to break into the Tier 1 mid turret. I don't see that every day.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Baron is more going to be used for this Garen to kill side lanes. I mean, I really wish that the Garen was top right now, breaking the top tier 2, but I mean, I guess you can just kill their whole mid. It's just, I mean, sure, why not? Yeah, Human Faith, you could just run them down mid, I guess. Potentially get this mid tier 2 as well while you're at it.
Yeah, no. Human Faith setting the tone. And already putting some damage into this tier 2. The flag drag in from Domlax doesn't find a good opportunity that he likes. They're going to lock in the Garen. He's going to flash inside of the prison. Zaheen going off into the backline here has not got enough auto attacks for the life reset, but that concert ultimate from Seraphine locks into double kill over to the Zaheen, and we're still going forward here. That's not gotten the extra auto. One more auto away, I believe, but will get executed by Kel. It may not be it. The charm's going to land here. I'm sorry, Kel. You are not long for this world here. And now there's just a little Nami to protect the space. This might be inhib. The death timers are sizable. I don't believe they've got the auto attack damage to do much more than get this inhib and walk home and spend their gold.
I think if Garen stayed with them mid, that was a possible end angle. I mean, it's cutting close. I think that their decision of just going to get these the top and bot tier twos is correct. Just get a lot of gold with this Baron that is about to expire in 30 seconds. That is a 4 tower worth Baron. So a really sizable Baron power play overall. And now we've kind of just gotten to the point where they just need to kind of get one more fight in and just win the game from there. Elkay is praying to any god that they can hear that Rabadons will be accelerated for Kel and then an Infinity Edge finished for Scorp. And then maybe if they disconnect the keyboards of some of Oasis's players and then get the most perfect engage going, then they could win. But I think I don't think it's looking great.
I think it's looking very good at all there. Dominick's having to use his flash to get away. It's not what you want your engaged jungler to do, but Human Faith just following Tricky Z across the map. And Tommy Sigurd having to use his ultimate to get himself out. And now the next dragon has spawned. Exol in hand and available. We're going to see if it's going to be the fight that actually decides the final match here. Oasis looking for the 3-0, looking for a big turnaround this week. And this would be a great start to their second week in the league. A bit of a charge forward here. The Exol has been confirmed, and now I think that's the go time here. I think it's the go button here. Garen just going to go forward with no help. He's going to get ulted, but Scorp will be destroyed. The Garen will finally go down, but I think the rest of the fight is over. That Seraphine ultimate extended all the way to the back line. Double kill has been captured by the R's. We're just charging forward here. Side's going to do his best to clear the wave, but the triple kill locked in by Tungy here. Quadra kill. Ace secured. I believe we have ourselves a game over. I believe Oasis has been able to recover what they wanted, get themselves a bit of dignity, a bit of a back comeuppance here as they progress into their second week in the league. Nexus is going to fall. Team Elkay, they need to go back. They need to check their model number. They need to return this water fountain. They have fallen once more with one map win in the league. They are now 1-8, and they are at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, Church, one of my favorite things about that LK model is that anytime that there was one in my school, I always felt like there was something broken about it. Whether it was the handle, like the little button on the side, not properly working, or it didn't really dispense enough water at all. There was always an issue with that water fountain. And I think the issue that we saw in this series was just not really a full understanding team-wide of what the successes are going to be for their roster. What can we do as a team? And having a conversation in draft as you're picking the champions and as you're loading in, and even like in the neutral time, the downtime of the game of, guys, what are we gonna do? How do we win this? It doesn't seem like they're all on the same page. They're kind of just going at it and trying their best to win. And that is never the way to play comp. And you could see that Oasis was just always on the front foot. They were always doing something actively and proactively to allow them to gain a sizable lead and push that lead forward to a point of, I mean, what we just saw, a total domination throughout the whole series and especially on this game 3.
Yeah, the Yasuo was a nice idea. I trust that Scorp will have a much better appearance with that champion as the league goes on. But unfortunately, just there was once that Yasuo does not sort of get ahead after one or two items against the entire just pantheon of the enemy team, it's all over. At that point, he's just ulting in to continue a knockup, maybe provide a bit of damage, but he will be focused down, and he was focused down and removed from the equation, and that just left Kel on the Oriana to try to manufacture and manage the best that they could for taking out the rest of the team. But once again, we have to give the credit back over to the Human Faith. If we were doing MVPs this league, the Human Faith would be the most obvious MVP accolade that I would provide for a match and series so far in casting this league. His performance on Yone into, oh, I am forgetting what was this, into the Kane, into the Garen was stellar. I have to give it over to Panda Boy for giving him a good run for his money in game one. Game two, not as much of an opportunity for how the matchup went, the Garen into the Kane. But the Human Fate's Garen in this third map just was untouchable, unstoppable, and put the fear of God into everyone.
Yeah, he is someone to look out for, especially with his more dynamic and not as meta champ pool that he's able to play. Something that you definitely have to put in some research for and watch out of what he plays and what he can play, and be really cautious about what he can provide on red side. Red side, his R5 seems to be very, very dangerous to be able to face against. So definitely the player to look out for as this tournament progresses.
And I believe with that, we can round ourselves up for the night. Thank you for tuning in for the Final Boss Draft League. This is, I believe, technically season one. We had season zero previously, I believe, but we're on. So we're in season two, the third season total, because there was a season zero. Because people that own this league make their own decisions. I do not. I just talk pretty. We will see you all tomorrow. We'll have another match up ready for you. It'll be Team Chaos versus Anyone Can Cook. This is much more of a someone in the lead. Anyone can cook 5-1 from their first six maps. Their two matches from week one. Team Chaos at a 2-4 record, looking to try to get themselves a little bit higher up in the ratings for at least how their first week went. Thank you all for watching in here for the Final Boss Draft League. I have been Church with Tivon. We will see you all tomorrow night. Thank you.